again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I tell you what, I am excited to get started once again today. The topic, peace is the path, love is the way, but with the thumbnail, right? Very hell realism, a little bit of that. A little realism. Good afternoon to all of you. Blessings to everyone swinging through. Right, and thank you. I do hope for a great stream today. And our buddy Tarek, oh my goodness, he was going again today. For those who know, you know, and those who don't even worry about it, man. Sincerely, blessings and greetings and much love to you all. I'm feeling pretty good today. In Austin, this is kind of the idea. Let's do this thing and hijacking the show. It's what we do. But hey, the thumbnail and the idea today. Ask me anything, right? Because the reality is who I am. I'm a little bit different than others. Publicly, I'm a man devoted to living with love. I'm a man devoted to faith in God, and I do have faith that God may allow us to create peace on earth. So if you got questions for a guy like that, well, ask me anything, right? But in the background is the reminder, although the two look awful close to the same, don't they? It looks a little bit hellish there in the peace diagram as well, but you know what? It is what it is. Peace and love is available. And blessings, salute to the chat, to all of you. Today I'm feeling pretty fine. I am. Don't try to fix reality. Be honest instead. If you're honest, you'll see the reality for what it is. Broken, fractured, divided, confused, and yet it's all in the perfect place, just as the way it's supposed to be. I was given a lot of these thoughts earlier today, the abstract thoughts of life and time and being and knowing. Those ideas, right? It's an interesting path we're living. No, the great golly geez, I don't know. It's just lip service, and it's not even lip service. It's not even real. As far as I can tell, we've got temporary peace in the Middle East. Yeah, I heard the news. The lip service was both sides, Iran and the US, agreed to a ceasefire as Iran and Israel keep attacking. So it's like, what is going on here? We've got liars leading liars, deceiving honest people who are just confused. And the confused people are just saying, okay, just, take our freedom, but just keep us safe. Take our money, just keep the enemies away. It's a show, bro. There you go, man. It is a show. Oh, interesting. Favorite movie and artist and why? Holy cows. So many different genres, but what I laughed at is a movie that came up as one I haven't seen in like decades. The movie Dune. I remember reading the book. It was like that big, thick ass book. And then the movie. So, but my favorite movie, I don't know. I was into some sick stuff. Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson. That was one of my favorites for a little while. Pulp Fiction. Forrest Gump. Artists, I don't know, man. Artists, there's so many. Where I am now is I do see the show. The show, it is. The greatest show is Earth. We are that. Don't miss out on the show, right? You got to do your part to do you and be you, but don't lose out on the show. Don't miss out on the fun, on the entertainment, on the exciting thing. Ooh, should I go for blonde or brunette? If you're referring for yourself or a partner, I don't know, are you talking a blonde or brunette partner? Or are you talking for yourself, lady? If you're talking for yourself, I encourage you to go natural or go with what makes you feel beautiful. How about that? Okay, for yourself. There's a part of you, if you ask yourself and you imagine the results and you ask yourself, is it this? And ask, uh-huh or uh-uh, right? See what comes up. See if there's an uh-huh or an uh-uh when you ask yourself. That's one way I've heard we can ask the spirit and the spirit will connect us, right? Because yes is uplifting. And then no is kind of restricting. So I would encourage you, what would help you feel most beautiful and most you? And then run with that. And then if it changes the next day, then change it the next day. You know, hell, you can go bald too if you want. I didn't get to the music. Music, Nine Inch Nails was top of my list for a long time. But then all sorts of them, all sorts. A wide variety. Where I am now is I actually just enjoy art. I can get emotional over just the silliest things. But art and joy is really what I'm thinking. And here, I like that. That's probably true. Brunette might be easier to maintain. I don't know. Hey, you know, I'm gonna go ahead. I don't have a lot of notes today, but the the intention of today, it really is ask me anything. There's lots of questions and wonders and lots of things about Jack, but they're not always accurate. And I know sometimes I'm not always accurate. Sometimes I don't always want to answer the questions, but today I'm willing to play along. Although, here's someone I'm glad is back, but I'd like to have some conversations. Doc, welcome back. What's going on with you?
Nothing. We got early release day and all this other stuff, so it's good to see you, Jack.
Thank you. Early release day. What does that mean?
It means school gets out early.
Are you in school?
Uh, no, obviously it's not for me, right?
Are you a teacher?
Nope.
You have children.
Last one on the list, Jack. Yeah.
You have children.
Yep.
Okay, so early release day, the kids are out of school early, and you're checking in.
Yep.
Okay. I'm glad you did, Duck, because there was something I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't think you've been acting real natural when you've been joining my live streams.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think of this as a fun place to explore questions about God, so.
Okay, God. But let's keep it focused on that instead of the
Yeah.
other directions, okay?
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I was coming up for the AMA thing that you had posted too.
Yeah. What would you, I mean, especially with the way I present myself, I present as a man devoted to living with love.
Yep.
I have faith that God may allow us peace on earth.
Yeah, I was thinking peace is the path, right? You put it right in the description today, Jack. Not that I'm going to prescribe something, but I wondered what you see as the biggest obstacle, given that, yeah, I mean, you were in the military. All of us live our life and make choices. We make decisions that maybe aren't our first optimal choice. And so, I'm curious, when we say peace is the path, there's no judgment involved, but what's the biggest obstacle that, or the most common obstacle that, you just kind of end up coming up with?
The obstacle to peace?
Yeah, well, if peace is the path, what is it? Who knows? What is the path like? There's probably a lot of different ways to rephrase the question. I wasn't trying to be too prescriptive there.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What is in the way of peace? That would be the question, I think. If peace is the path,
Sure.
what is the obstacle you might encounter? The greatest
Uh,
obstacle is selfishness. Selfishness is the greatest obstacle to peace. Does that make sense?
yeah, that does make sense. So selfishness, selflessness, maybe success, or just even appreciating. For me, that's kind of like appreciating what's going on around me while I'm sort of in the zone. It's one of those things I constantly work on and stuff like that too. But you know, I don't know if that makes sense, right? Because like I think of a Monday through Sunday panel show. I appreciate your time. This is a fun thing to do 7 days a week. And for me, I want to support the growth of the community, but that's also selfish, right? I still don't know what Jack Talcott's bringing to the world, as even when I see it. I'm not you. I don't know you. I'm not Chat. I don't know Chat. All these types of questions that seem to consistently come back up. And so I just figured I'd ask that.
Thanks. I think the rumor, and well, there has been a lot of confusion about me, right? Jack Talcott. Because there's been a lot of assumptions and accusations. Well, there's been a lot of reasons, but there has been a lot of confusion. And we're going to change it. Here's someone who can help, who I think might want to help because he's certainly been a part of this story. I want to welcome back our friend, Powder Dusty. How you doing,
Thank
brother?
you for having me. Good. Jack, where were you last night?
I was tuned in for a while, but I was so tired. I didn't want to get up.
Didn't
I
see
stayed.
Jim either.
What's that? You
I
didn't
didn't
see Jim?
Jim either.
That's unfortunate. I was hoping Jim would swing through because that would be pretty cool. But yes, the holy cows, man. You are popular, aren't you?
Only amongst a few. There's just as many who don't like me.
Well, there is. But hey, like or dislike, I don't know if that matters as long as they're honest. That's the only thing that really matters, right?
It doesn't really matter a lot to me, and that's sort of, I think, one of the things that's helped me succeed in these YouTube streets is I just don't necessarily care that much if people don't like me.
That is helpful.
There's worse things than being disliked.
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? Honestly, having to look back at myself, I was such a people pleaser. I would get crushed if I knew people didn't like me. Oh, my God. I was such a fragile little...
One thing that I love about YouTube channels and live stream hosts is that this attracts narcissists, of course, as it would, right? And the thing about narcissists is they're simultaneously, they need the attention, but they're super thin-skinned. And so like they get criticized and they crash out, but then they keep coming back for more punishment because getting negative attention, even though it drives them crazy, is better than getting no attention. And it's just like
It is. That's why it's the perfect. It's like the mosquito light, the bug lamp, the bug zapper. It attracts us. Those of us who want attention, we're like, oh, shine on me, shine on me. Zap. Back to your shell. Anyway.
One of the things I've noticed, can I say this? One of the things I've noticed about accusations of narcissism in the panel verse is that people forget that when you step on a panel, there's people here that are coming with all kinds of different experiences, all kinds of different challenges. And so some people just need to get through it. But some people honestly they honestly believe that attitude that just because I'm from here today, just because I'm like this today, I get to get my experience, up on the internet and all this other stuff. And to me, it just reminds me that, look, I am still a 36-year-old, I'm a young guy, right? I'm still learning a lot. There's people I learn from, there's people I can believe in. And there's also people that I seriously dislike all in one place, right? And the problem with that is, I'm not trying to conquer a moment. I'm not trying to conquer a mountain. I might go do like a, this kind of 1,000-foot elevation gain, this kind of 15% incline run right now. But I don't have to do that, right? I don't have to prove to myself that I can do that because I've done it before. I can do it. It's just a matter of whether or not I'm going to. And so that's where my head comes from.
Okay. All right. You get out and you just run, and it's like on this the treadmill is going, man. The wheel is spinning, but I'm not sure where it's going sometimes, man.
So I have a question for you. Thank you, Million Sparks.
Oh yeah.
How did you become the ringleader of the panel verse, Jack?
I heard him whining about that earlier in a clip I saw.
Was he whining?
He was.
The question sounds complimentary. I would take it as a compliment.
Well, he was dumbfounded because apparently he couldn't see any value in Jack. And so he was surprised to see Jack coming out on top in different ways. So a Million Sparks is not as bright as he thinks, but he's contributing.
Are you going to answer the question or just insult a Million Sparks?
Hey, I don't claim to be a ringleader. I don't.
I think it's through the merging. You've gotten a whole lot of people to take your last name.
Yep.
The harem cod is expanding.
It's the it's the long play. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on the long play. These young boys, they don't see beyond a step or two. They can't figure
Flo,
it out.
Are you restreaming right now, Flo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, everyone? Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are having a great day.
Hey, go back and listen to your words, dude. Moose himself, he in this clip I heard earlier today, he was talking about how, kind of bragging, how him and Paul just used Jack for day after day like a lol cow, right? Jack was the joke. And so Moose, clearly you don't treat people you think have value. You don't treat people of value as a joke, Moose. So do the math, dude. Your actions showed what you think. That's why I don't like you, Moose. You've proven that.
Yeah, I mean, targeting people because of past addiction, because of past love interests, because of things they've said you just didn't like. That's never acceptable behavior.
Okay. Did that happen?
Well, I think, I mean, I'm just I'm not trying to blame Moose, but I also don't think that blamelessness is probably there, right? Like, I don't know
Okay.
what the, yeah.
All right. So, hey, I know Million Sparks, Moose. You think you're right? Ha ha ha! Ha! You're right. Jack is wrong. Ha ha! You've been playing that stupid game for a long time, man. Who is Moose? Moose is this character. He's been a part of the Panelverse nonsense. First, he was like, he was all up Paul unslaved, up his shadow. And then, well, he claimed he was willing to work with me, so I compensated him, and he showed me not to be trustworthy. So he's still a part of the story, though.
Jack, do you think it's funny? Do you actually think it's funny or entertaining when people come up and, oh, by the way, here's the Tesseract pillow. I'll show you guys this again real quick. But do you guys think it's actually, do you guys think it's funny or entertaining when people come up and it's not that they're just trying to make an impression or get attention, get eyeballs. It could be almost anything like in a reality world. But they actually come up because they want to become notable for becoming a bully, for being mean, for making people tune in while using racial slurs, while taking away people's personhood. You know, these are all things that make me personally very excited, right? Because I can keep doing what I'm doing that day and also consider what's upsetting me at that time.
Thank you, Moose, for another contribution. Duck, go rub one off.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Moose. You're a great person. Love it.
But just drop off panel before. I don't want you looking at me.
Please. Yes. NPC, thank you, brother. And yes, I believe Moose talking about himself in the third person. He's got a lot of different personalities. He's got a whole bunch of different names online and offline. So I think it's a sign. He's kind of fractured and divided. He's not whole. But hey, I do this too. To be fair, you're right, NPC. To be fair, Jack
does Moose not see himself? Does Moose not see himself, himself, herself, their self, kind of talking amongst a bunch of people where you are sort of sitting there and you're just not aware of your surroundings, not aware of what's going on, not disassociating, but just not caring. I'm just curious about that.
I don't know how he sees. Is this background noise coming through the mic? Can you hear?
I heard a little honk or something for a second, but not besides that.
Okay.
It's pretty. Your audio is pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We got construction happening next door on the other side.
I live by train tracks, and I smoke inside, right? So the window's always open, and then like every 10 seconds, it's like.
It doesn't come through. I've never heard it pick up. Hey, welcome to you, Scott. How are you today?
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we on the Jack Talcott network today? Everything good?
So far, so good. Peace is the path. Love is the way. We're here. We're present. That's half the battle, right?
That's a lot more of an answer than I asked for as a question, but hey, okay.
You know that's how I roll.
Hey, good for you. Keeping with that theme, so you're feeling blessed, you're feeling loved, and you're feeling okay today, huh? But how about flow state?
I'm feeling. Moose has been blessing me. You all are blessing me with great conversation. John Galt earlier today blessed me with a good conversation, and I tried to get him to bless the panel over here because he was shutting down just as Jack was firing up. But I'll put it this way: he ended the stream. He goes, "I'm sorry, I'm drunk," and then played his after song. So I don't know that he'll be coming over here.
I like John Galt. I've never talked to him, but he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't think I've spoke to him yet either. If I did, it was very briefly.
I've seen him on CT's panel a few times. I've never watched his show at all because he has like 400 shows all the time, and I never wanted to get caught up in something that never ends.
Actually, my next stream, I might review a little bit of his stream today because John Galt is a savage person.
Is he?
And you know I love my Loosh. Yes.
He is savage. He is.
You know who else is savage though is Hurricane Paro down there.
That's what I've heard and seen a little bit. I don't know Hurricane. I don't know.
You know, my enemy's enemy is my friend. You and Paro both have a grudge with Chuck.
Oh, that's good to know.
Speak of the
well
devil.
timed. Welcome, Chuck. How are you today?
Yeah, I think the nature of your grudges might be different though, because Hurricane Paro wants to see Chuck's dick. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
From Chuck?
I sure hope Jack ain't chasing after that.
No, not at all. Oh man,
That was wicked, Flo. That was wicked.
What was wicked?
Trying to compare Jack to chasing my dick.
I mean, I just
Like,
because Jack and her. I mean, you guys seem to be getting along right now. Knock on, I guess, this plastic desk. But you know, I thought maybe my enemy's enemy is my friend would make Jack and Hurricane, you know, homies. But
it gives us.
It doesn't seem like Jack wants to see your dick as much as Hurricane does.
No,
I'm disappointed. Everybody wants it. I can't figure it out.
Personally, I want you to show it to Jack more than I want you to show it to Hurricane because Jack doesn't want to see it.
Well, there is a price tag associated with that feat.
That's funny. Holy cows. Hey, I think we have a wonderful guest joining. Welcome back, Miss Ruby. How are you?
Hi,
I'm
Ruby.
very well. And we've also, Cinnamon is the true star. He wanted to hop on and say hi.
Yeah.
Petting a rat.
No, he's a hamster. He's a big
Gerbil.
boy, though. He's like a
gerbil.
dog right now.
The
That's not the
hamster,
new one. That's not the new one, right?
Hamster.
No, this is the OG Cinnamon, and I got a new one, actually. I can show you. It's freaking adorable.
Did you get a new one? Because that one's going to die.
Well, I can't lie. That was in my mind just because like they don't live that long, and I know that like breaks my heart. He can never be replaced though, but it is, you know, part of me was like, I don't know, maybe it'll help soften the blow, but Cinnamon is irreplaceable. He's very special.
Don't give Chuck a chance at that. He'll use it to chum the water.
Oh, sweet.
What?
What?
That didn't make no sense, Scott.
You'll
He's
take
chill.
it out fishing, is what I said. You'll use it as bait.
No, that's Panda Express right there.
There you go.
Let me show you the new one too, though.
Yeah,
I'm afraid she's like
nuggets.
Get a kitten, they'll live longer.
I lived with cats. My brother had cats. I love all animals. I've always loved animals, but I've never been crazy about like cats. I've never owned a cat on my own, actually.
Oh, Ruby, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can I ask you a question? Are you like St. Francis? Do you love animals like that, or like where do you put yourself on the Borman scale of being an animal fan, of seeing them part of the high fashion vegan community and stuff like that?
I used to be more of like a militant vegan, but there's like life consumes life, and it's not really biblical to like judge other people's diets and behaviors in that way, because there's, especially like the way things are made, like even as a vegan, there's massive amounts of like insects and small rodents that are killed in the process. So I don't know, nuanced feelings.
That's cool. I mean, I think imagining that like my motor cortex is just like the one that moves a cow around, right? It doesn't mean that that cow isn't going to get eaten. But as a vegan now, you know, I didn't used to be. It's kind of like, well, you know, I do have some questions. I can just say something simple like a cow's a friend, right? Cow's a friend. That's the millennial contribution to like that kind of stuff. And then it's awesome because we see people who have these deep relationships. Shut up. Shut up,
Doc.
Jesus, I'm talking.
You
Hey,
made
you're not
the
Jack
fatal
Talcott.
mistake.
Right.
All I
Jesus.
wanted to ask you.
Let him get. He can be long-winded, but let him get to the point.
Moving right along.
Did you have more, Duck? I'm sorry, I was distracted.
I apologize.
Yeah, I love
Chuck.
St.
I didn't mean to
Francis. I've
cut
been
you
learning
off.
more about him, and yeah, he's been all of the saints have been incredibly inspirational and like game changing for me lately. So,
Duck, when you became a vegan, was it because your stomach started to feel like a graveyard?
I went vegetarian like when I was like 8 years old. I like literally have always loved animals, and when I found out what they were, and I learned the term from watching Jurassic Park, and I thought it was so cool that the character was a vegetarian. So I was like, that partially inspired me too. I don't know if you guys know the scene where the T-Rex, the lamb chop hits the thing, and he's like, "What's the matter? You don't like lamb chops?" I don't know if it's like niche reference maybe, but yeah. So I was super young, just loved animals, and then I went vegan when I was 14, and I've been mostly vegan. I've had like a year where I ate dairy, but you know, it's like it grosses me out kind of honestly, and so I don't. It's not even temptation for me. Especially with
Really?
meat.
It's been a long time now since you've been a vegan.
Yes, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
You do eat dairy though, so you're not 100%.
No, I don't eat dairy. But like when I was like relapsing and on like smoking crack, I did dabble with dairy. Like, I wasn't like
Smoking
super on it with the
crack
diet.
and you relapsed on me. Oh boy.
Normally, crack.
Yeah,
is
that was
not
my rock bottom
anything.
was relapsing on dairy.
Hey,
Oh my
reason.
goodness.
Thank you, Red. Thank you for the contribution, my friend. Pay off those pesky agents investigating everyone. I'm not sure entirely, but I appreciate the support. And the contribution
That
for
would be
sure.
Tarek, Snafu, Axis.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Hey, and I want to welcome and invite NPC Gabriel. How you doing, brother?
What's up,
Good.
Nick?
Thanks for having me, brother. It's kind of hard to catch up on my sleep when your show starts at 4 a.m. over here. But yeah. By the way, speaking of red caught 40, I saw a video on how they make red 4 dye, and I didn't know they use parasites like a bug or something.
Yeah,
you know that?
You didn't know they grind. I think it's beetles or something like that.
Yeah, some
they
type of like
grind up.
insect or parasite. Yeah. And they put it in the water, and all the red color comes out, and that's the dye. So we're chugging that.
Oh, hey, sorry.
Kool-Aid.
We got another guest here in the back too. I didn't mean to leave.
Kool-Aid, yeah.
Waiting. Welcome, Plastic African. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, long time no see.
Hey, how's it going?
Feeling
Pretty
blessed.
good, man.
You guys
So,
well?
Jack, can I ask you? The question last night that I posed was, "What is Jim real or is he a con man?" And my chat, not overwhelmingly, but my chat thought he was a grifter. More than that, he was sincere about his.
I saw that. My personal feeling is I believe the man is sincere. I really do.
You don't feel like he was kind of preaching to your choir, like he was around long enough to figure out what
No.
you like?
Nope. I heard you making those
gotta-
claims. I heard you making those claims that he was tossing softballs my way, but I disagree.
I
Because
think he was
I got
adopted.
100,000 followers. I got 100,000 followers.
for
I
what?
think he was abducted by hippies that do tattoos.
No, who knows?
You
Who
get like
knows?
100 followers
But-
though, Chuck, right?
No, on Facebook,
think.
he mentioned his group, his
Group, okay.
abductee. You know, it's for people with similar stories. That apparently there's 100,000 people in that group he started for those who have been abducted.
Did you
I
look
see.
for that group?
I did not. That
Okay,
is
it's
a
not
fair
linked on his
question.
YouTube or on his website.
All right, that's fair. I have not looked. Here today is the thumbnail is ask me anything, and this question from thank you. Forgive me if you've answered before. What denomination do you like? Any you don't like? Thoughts on Catholicism or Orthodoxy? I I appreciate the questions. I do land truly as a follower of Jesus, which could easily qualify as falling into the Christian denominations. I'm not a big fan of the religiosity, right? the traditions and the hierarchy created by some of the church. Specifically, I'm
You
very
mean
critical of
organized?
Catholics.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, I'm on a similar boat too. So that was a good question. I've been exploring like what, sect of Christianity or what belief system, and I'm just reading everything, and it always comes back to just following Christ and just like really meditating on, the suffering and gift that he's given everyone, and accessing, the kingdom of heaven in your heart. It's a beautiful thing.
Whoa.
Ruby, do you think it's an individualistic journey?
And everyone has to do their own journey, but I think it's, for me personally, like I've started attending church so I can find some guidance of other people, and I'm gonna go to like an AA meeting later, so
Awesome.
yeah,
You right
we're
up
getting
my
back in the pro.
alley
I'm a
then.
week off of wheat, so I'm like, I'm hyped right now.
I'm trying to do a AA kind of show, so sometime I'd like to hook up with you if you want to share your experience, strength, and hope.
Chuck, never offer a woman to hook up with her on a stream ever again, please.
Also, what's up, Melanie? I miss you.
Okay, Mel. Bad choice of words. I'll bite the bullet on that one.
Hey, I want to welcome in as well Melanie and Plastic African. I think I brought you up. I don't know if either of you had a chance to say hi.
Well, Melanie's looking hot today.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, my Furby's on point.
Well grown.
That's your fur recently done?
OG, welcome.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Plastic African. How's Africa? Sorry.
I would add for me, when I look at the Christ, or the whole thing of why the Lamb of God had to come forth in the world, was that the New Testament came, right? That's the connection between where we as Gentiles are able to go unto the wisdom of God, if we can be in the presence of, because of the Lamb that has given his life unto everyone, Jew or Gentile. So that remarkable work of what is done, and live it and be among it, and be not afraid, all that crap. And you're right, like the dogma of our religion is great because of how it's spread, and it is it's dangerous in the world anyway, no matter what the Western Foundation is based on these things, and it needs to understand them, or it's going to fall to the way, right? Or should it be like John the Revelator says, this is where it has to go. It has to precede itself, for God is that. I'm Alpha and Omega. I'm the beginning and I'm the end, and this has to be, and we are all between that.
Yeah, and it's all here, and that's the twist.
Yeah, and that's choice in life. And if you have the capacity to understand what you have, and God forbid you understand that, that's carry your cross. Be brave.
My mind, my eyes have been opened to the truth, right? And the truth is the gospel that was brought by Jesus. Those teachings, it's for us to know. The benefit is the individual who can find forgiveness, who can walk with mercy and compassion, to walk with love and faith. Guys, there really is no greater reward, really.
Really, it's better than drugs, like better than fentanyl and crack. I can say that, just like from, like I can say that with certainty. So I want to inspire the people. It really is.
I love that.
I call cap. Let's be real.
Have you smoked crack? Like I'm telling you, every high that I've tried, and it's been many, like nothing compares to being connected to divine love and God, and just living life and seeing beauty everywhere to the point where it like makes you cry. I know it's fucking corny. I don't give a
That must not
No, but for a lot of people, that's the only way they can see God is, or what you call love, or whatever. Like beyond drugs, or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Love or Christ or God or whatever isn't that is comfortable. God doesn't see that. We don't have that realm. We are living in this. We are not elementary to that when we die, when we go forward. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think somebody brought up narcissism earlier? Do you think like thinking God like really is all in your life is kind of a narcissistic way of looking at things, or
good?
You know what I mean?
Most.
Like he cares about
Dude,
he or she
you're
cares
assuming
about
that
really
the
what you're
grand
doing.
creator of the universe has chosen you above all of his creations and all of space and time
Well,
to
that's
be
main
his
character
single
syndrome.
emissary of word.
Like
It's probably
that's-
not you. It might be Jack. I can't say it ain't. I'm from a tent revival culture.
I remember you said that.
That this is normal. This is fine.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah, but I'm not
related
saying
to
that God
other
doesn't love
humans?
us. I'm just saying that he would like take the time to be like, oh, like, you know, what's Sasquatch doing right here on the stream? Like,
Yeah, I think that's like main character
just asking
syndrome, being
questions.
self-absorbed.
Trying to figure it out.
Like it doesn't live up to narcissism,
God
which
would
is
take the
personality
time.
disorder. Main character syndrome makes sense, thinking that you're the center of the universe. Okay.
Well, if you're one with God, which is the goal, then you are, right? That's the twist.
But we can't be one with God. There is no other way.
I don't think you even know that though. Either.
Hold on, Duck. Hold on, Duck. Let him do the super chat.
Just real brief. I've been putting this off. Hank, thank you for the contribution. How many politicians and bureaucrats have you had a conversation with since you moved to Maryland? Very few. Not as many as I have reached out to. Under 5, I would say I have spoken with. Am I keeping track with a spreadsheet? No, I am not. Now, the disagreement about being one with God. I get the resistance. The logic and the resistance are appropriate. They can be. But I'm pretty sure that's what the goal was, that Christ was
God
trying
created
to
us in his
show.
image. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
You know
We
who
can
the worst
dissolve-
Christians throughout history were? Are the ones who started wars. And you know why they started wars? Because they thought God picked them specifically to start his war.
Yeah. And that's like, there's been so many like really sick interpretations, and people use the Bible and things in the Bible as a weapon to control and manipulate others, which is antithetical to everything that Jesus taught, you know? So it's, people will use that to harm others. And there are sick people who want to elevate themselves, but everything I have been reading has humbled me profoundly and made me realize that I'm not, like, I'm both not shit and also dearly loved by God. And it's a beautiful paradox, and that's just the nature of reality. So,
Ruby, have you had any anecdotal incidents that have happened with you in relation to finding a God of your understanding?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was a militant atheist, but there was no other path for me to find. I was like explicitly anti-Christian for a long time. I had an upside down cross tattooed on me. Like, I don't think people understand how profound the difference
Oh
is. Like,
Lord,
it's covered. It's
You
been
were-
covered for a while, but I was like a edgy punk kid, and I was explicitly anti-Christian. I thought the same thing. It's used to harm people. I wanted to help people, and that's used to harm people. I have gay friends, and they hate gay people. You know, I have trans friends, and they hate that. And the thing is, I was looking to people as examples of what God can be, but it's like people will always fail you. People will always fall short of that. You know,
all you have to do is look at conversion therapy to see how it actually harms people.
yeah, I don't like any of that stuff.
You said
Not as
people always
much
will
as-
hurt you.
Not as much as sex reassignment surgery does.
Hello.
It would hurt. I get that it would hurt you, Flow State, but you're not a trans person.
that would hurt me.
Touche.
Hey, real quick, happy for you 2-6. Thank you, Jack Hugs, for the contribution. Regarding what you were saying just a few minutes ago, or what Chuck was asking about examples, Trexty and I were talking about this earlier, that these paths and exercises of gratitude, it can bring such a euphoria over you. It surpasses any drug high that I've had. And that's what you're saying too, right?
100%. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
100%.
How do you know we can't get
Now,
these
since you
without
became
God?
Christian, have you relapsed?
Have I? Well, I didn't become like there wasn't a moment. It's been like a weird winding road of a journey of me moving closer to God, and it's been a lot of winding turns. But ever since in June of 2023, I was detoxing off fentanyl on a friend's couch in the worst pain I've ever experienced. I didn't believe in spirits until I very distinctly felt like my spirit was put back inside of me, and I was instantly felt happier and more filled with joy than I ever had. And I was like, okay, I'm either psychotic or I'm connecting to God. And I've been trying to figure that out ever since, And
Good luck.
but yeah,
Do you think
I'm
maybe
definitely
having
leaning towards God.
do you think maybe having Thorpe fans slut shame you for like a year straight, like
Oh.
hardcore, is making you seek redemption in
No, not at
esoteric
all.
ways?
No, I've always been very open about my past, and my views on sex work have changed due to my personal relationship with God and how I see sex differently than I used to.
Good
I
for
don't,
you.
yeah, I could give a fuck about that.
Well, I'm just saying, like subconsciously, maybe it got to you, and now you're trying to redeem yourself in the eyes of
Redeem myself in the eyes of, yeah, I disagree, but okay, it's an interesting take.
It's like, what are you seeking forgiveness for? You're
Yeah.
a perfectly fine human being, Ruby.
Who am I? I'm not seeking. I'm just. Wait, I don't know that I'm doing that. Am I doing that right now?
Well, someone else mentioned that it's part of seeking forgiveness. So sorry to associate that to you when you.
Oh, I love having, like, for me, it's been very healing. I mean, yeah, you mentioned the Thorpes. It's been healing. I got stuck in a cycle of rage and reaction with them. And even though I still want, a large amount of distance, like, I have learned to forgive them in my heart. And that also has helped me a lot. It doesn't mean, yeah, like I said, we have to interact, but just being able to genuinely pray that they do well and that they can fix their own situation, that's been healing to me.
Wait, so
Yes,
now
yes.
now we need God to forgive people? I'm just trying to figure out where we need
No,
God.
no, that's not what she said. That's
Oh.
not what she said.
No, I'm talking
I
about
thought it was
me,
about
me
God
forgiving
forgiving
people.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
talking about,
God
like,
was forgiving you.
what? No, I'm talking about me forgiving people, not
Right.
Yeah,
God.
I'm just getting
How
confused.
did you
Yeah.
feel about Ben wanting to make you a part of his broken hoe network?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, he's a failed cult leader. I don't know what to say. He failed at it.
He failed a few times,
yep.
didn't he?
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
knowing
whatever.
your
Like I said, it's
Kool-Aid.
easy to slip back into, like, shitting on them. So that's why I try to
No,
avoid. It's
and
just, yeah.
Well, that's not
And
shit on
Ruby,
him. That's just asking you how you felt about what happened.
right. And I think you're doing wonderful with that, Ruby. And there's no denying
God
it.
happened, Scott.
These relationships online, these experiences online, they can test you, right?
Yeah.
And I know my faith has grown through some of the opposition and struggles and challenges I faced. And, but that's what the scripture is about too. Teaches us to celebrate these tribulations, celebrate these challengers, love our enemies.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I've found that to be profoundly impactful in my own life, to practice that. Even though it's challenging, I just have to constantly catch myself, and I can't even, like, watch certain content because it'll just suck me back into the toxic cycle of reaction, defending, explaining, trying to, convince, or I don't know. Just
That is the effect of Boyd.
yeah, I
Freedom,
know.
freedom makes you what a sick friend.
It
Well-
does sound to me kind of like people choose God in, like, more so in moments of despair than moments of clarity.
I mean, that's
Mm.
when people, like, in their moment of despair and vulnerability, that a lot of people do connect through that. They say God enters through the wound. That's a saying some people say, but
That makes sense.
I,
But
like, for
you're
me,
also
I was very
looking for
hesitant. I
God
didn't, like,
at
choose
the
God,
bottom.
like, as, like, a tactical, like, it just happened that way, and I don't know.
But isn't that also
Right.
an easy way to manipulate people, is to find them at
Yes.
their lowest and then be like, here's
Yes.
your way out of it. Just do what I say.
But
Oh, yes, it
But
is.
we-
Yes. There's a lot of
but
wicked people in the
we
church.
done it
Evil
on our
people.
own, Mel. We didn't.
Lots of wicked people, I'm telling you. And they use the
There's a
label
lot
of
of
Christianity
broken
to do
people.
the worst evils. The worst evils.
Well, yeah, and they're
And
all
if-
human too. So can we even, is there anybody with that sort of power who we can trust?
Well, you trust the truth. I mean, my personal experience, I didn't turn to God immediately. I found love and I saw this supernatural feeling associated with love, and I didn't understand it. It was illogical to me. I mean, because I went in the same bed the same night. I was laying in my bed, just broken and a wreck, right? Wondering how am I going to get through the night. And then after just a change in perspective, all of a sudden I'm just feeling this love pouring through me. And it blew my mind. So I didn't credit God immediately. But after all the signs, and I kept going through these challenges and just actually looking at myself saying, well, shit, Jack, you made it through that. What's going on? Why were you so afraid? Why were you so angry? And it happened over and over. So then I just finally said, okay, it's got to be God. It's got to be God.
Yeah.
So you're not saying that you can't experience love without God, though, right?
No.
But so what's the purpose of needing God, or not needing, of choosing to that sort of path through God instead of just accepting that it's love in general?
The inner peace.
Yeah, our perception of it as being an ultimate truth through direct experience. I get that's confusing to some people because I know how I would look at, oh my God, like I listen to myself talk and I know how I perceived that a few years ago. I know it. And I know that I did. God,
I just don't trust individual experiences because people also believe in ghosts and stuff, and we have no evidence for that either.
That's also how we literally quantify anything. It's like through observable like data and people self-reporting. That's like the entire industry of social
There's
sciences.
some things that are more subjective than others. There's some things you
100%,
get
yeah.
rid of the subjectivity through the empirical method. So when it comes to things like ghost hunting, when you try to apply the objective way of determining these things, it comes back with nothing, thus proving that it's probably not there, and that people are superstitious, right? When we hear or see things we don't understand,
technically it comes back with almost nothing.
When humans are superstitious, right? When we hear or see things we don't understand, our brain tries to fill in the gaps with information.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to.
Yeah, I like you're literally saying everything that I believe. Like, yeah, I get it.
Let's be clear. I have inner peace about the idea of God existing, everything, to be honest. And I'm an evolutionary atheist, all that bull crap. And to me, people who believe in God make a lot of sense. You're superstitious. You want that the universe is benevolent, that it has your best interest.
Well, either God always is and was, or nature always is and was. It's like there's no explanation for reality that's not going to sound supernatural on a certain level. And you're asking people to like scientifically prove a miracle. The whole point is that it defies science. Like,
Mel, do you think that there is a God? Your atheism doesn't mean you don't believe there's a God necessarily.
I just don't know.
You don't
I'd be
know.
certainly more likely to believe in it if there was evidence. And I think that if something could act on this universe in any way, shape, or form, we would probably be able to find evidence of it.
When you look at the story of Jesus, you don't equate that to evidence at all.
No, I think that's a story.
It's a story.
Okay, you don't believe there was a man named Jesus that walked the earth. With there's empirical evidence. There's not one. There's not 500. There was 1,000 people that wrote about this.
So I can't be sure, but it seems. Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Sorry, Mel. I was actually not that you need support. I was going to kind of defend your position as anyway, because I get that idea of it's a story. I mean, the story of Horus is, if I remember, I just saw something recently. Horus, the offspring of Osiris and Cyrus, right? Apparently the same story as Jesus. Disciples, Virgin Mother, resurrected.
Hammurabi, I think, is the same shit. Okay. So, but there's several stories, but that doesn't lead you away from Jesus any more than it brings you to Jesus. Jesus is where the Bible is centered on. It's a lineage. It's a direct lineage. Okay.
And it's a story, though, Scott.
It's a story, though, that has a lot of empirical evidence backing it the fuck up, is what I'm saying. Unlike many other stories, this one appears to be evidently true.
Hey, Scott, is the earth flat?
You are. So is your head. I can tell because you're losing your fucking hair, old man.
Oh, no.
But you can't call a story. Can't call Jesus a story. Therefore, everything would be a story in the book.
Jesus is a lot more than a story, and furthermore, the stories that you have of Hammurabi and the different stories like that of Cyrus and Cyrus and Set and
Oh,
whatnot.
hang on. The stories of Jesus were
When you go and look at those, they don't have the ascension, they don't have the resurrection, they don't have the things that we have with Jesus. Now, I wasn't there, I can't prove that this shit happened, but there was as many as 500 people that saw Jesus resurrected.
No. There is one book that says that there was 500 people. There's actually not one single contemporary witness of Jesus who wrote about it. Not one.
Okay. Do you think Jesus was here on Earth there, Flo?
No, I don't.
I want to point out that like it's either one of these stories is true or none of them are, right? There is no such thing as all of these stories are true.
Correct.
They compete in various ways. So
what do you think of the Shroud of Turin?
Just say like all stories are equal.
I think
right?
the Shroud of Turin is a laughable farce. It didn't even show up until the 1200s. It's been demonstrated to be not 2,000 years old many times. It's just, I think it's laughable.
The section of it that was burned in a fire was carbon dated to be like less than 2,000 years old. But then when they actually dated the actual fibers of the shroud itself, that was questionable.
Bro,
it was a lot
you have a shroud with a loose face print. How would you know that that's Jesus' face? It's absurd. We've got tons of examples. Let me finish. We've got tons of examples throughout all of human history of relics being tourist attractions for money. And to say that the Shroud of Turin is actually the face of Christ, sure. Praise Our Lady of Grilled Cheese.
Tell you what, I'd really like to
bring it back.
Bring it back.
Let's ask Jack questions about his eyebrow agitation level.
My chicken burger just came out of the
miracle.
oven. By the way, I do eat chicken. I wish I could be vegetarian. Just going back to that real quick and vegan. I am going to go, but I will say this much. We can do a little bit better by just getting rid of beef and pork and just going to chicken. I think that would just be healthier for humans overall.
Well,
did you say something, Mel?
Can I ask a personal question?
And it's not about being better than other people, right? It's just, I think, I enjoy chicken. I don't enjoy just eating vegetables. It's that simple.
Do you chew the bone?
No.
Scott.
Bad Fox.
Had to ask.
Anyways, have a good night.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you for this discussion.
Miracles are real. My grandbaby just took his first steps.
There you go.
And there you go.
Miracle in action.
I tell you what, babies, children.
I think the real miracle is that Furby left a panel before crashing the whole thing out.
I almost mentioned that, but I went on with the kid instead because I'm actually proud of the kid.
I'm a Furby apologist forever, so I like Mel.
Hey, Sasquatch, you made people who made people now. Congratulations.
Well, no, actually, I didn't make this one. I just adopted it. I just raised it.
There you go.
Please don't antagonize, but I'm going to welcome up Tom. Welcome back.
I heard this was an Ask Jack Anything stream.
It can be, yes, sir.
Jack, I started getting halfway through that little screenshot thing, and I thought to myself, you should verify with Jack on record if you reveal this super chats that add up to $500. Are you going to pay?
What?
Wait, what?
Hey, whoever said what, mind your own business and shut your fucking mouth.
No, that was me.
You didn't go what? You didn't go what?
I did. So the question is, am I going to donate 500 when the donation total adds up to 500? Is that what I heard?
Jack, it definitely goes way past that. But when you said, how can I support? And your daddy said, yeah, I'm going to go on record that I think we should do a fundraiser. And I said, if you do that fundraiser with that thing, I'll look for the clips that the people bring up if I know where they are. And then he spent the next 4 days calling me an e-bagger. But I'm just asking you, if I cough
Is
up
that a
those
slur,
spoon fed,
e-beggar? Isn't that some sort of slur?
Scott, every
No.
being of your
You're a
essence is a
slur.
slur.
You're a
I
slur.
know.
You're a prepubescent slur.
Scott,
And just,
Okay,
just
I'm
for
sorry.
Clayface's interest, the shroud shows signs that
Back to
a
Ruby. Ruby, congratulations on your week without pod.
Thank you. It's yeah,
Awesome,
I've been unable
Ruby.
to do this in years. So that is a small miracle in my life
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah,
really
I'm rooting
grateful.
for you.
hey, Scott, let's see you go a week without eating out of a pot.
Hey, I think that's TOS, man. He's
Anyway,
trying to tell me to off myself. That's bad.
the shroud of Turin shows signs that an extremely strong electromagnetic pulse had ran through it, most likely in that transference into the holy body. The face does resemble what the Jewy actual description of Jesus would be. And Scott's look resembles a lot like what a male Jeep Girl 311 would look like. You stupid cunt. You're
Whoa.
worse than your daddy.
There's something wrong
Tom,
with you, truly.
Are we
Tom, there is something
antagonizing
wrong.
yet?
Yeah, because you let people talk when you know what's wrong with my mic.
Well, Tom, you're the one showing up with something wrong with your mic, and there's more
Answer
wrong with
the
your
fucking question.
So here, tell you what, if you clearly could benefit, and I could probably justify giving you $500, but it ain't gonna be for you going back and clipping donations from my stream. Okay, do something of value, and I'll reward.
Jack, that's what I'm telling you. My value for 4 fucking years has been people paying to talk shit on me on your channel and you not letting me respond to your daddy and other haters. That is
This is
value.
true. That is true.
No, I disagree. There's not
Oh,
$500
then
value there. You
we'll
think?
do it like this,
Hold on,
Jack. We'll do it like this.
Tell
We'll
you
do
what,
it like
Tom,
this, Jack. Okay, talk over me when you know my mic can't be heard. We'll do it like this, Jack, because this is the isness of the truth of the universe. If I go through and do this and you sit on your hands like you do in DC and with your family, everyone will see you for who you are.
They sure will.
So, last question for Jack. Last question for Jack. Do you really think I'm not going to wreck you and your daddy on your season 1 revamp?
Yeah, I think you're not.
Season 1 revamp.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, your daddy's irrelevant.
So we're asking Jack stuff, right?
That's
What
the
do you
Yes,
like?
sir.
idea.
What do you enjoy reading? And I don't want the religious answer. I want that secret, the freaking thing that you don't tell people about, right? That you
The
just
book you're
secretly
hiding.
read over there. Yeah. Well, not anything nefarious. I'm like, are there any
Like Harry Potter?
books? Or we talking like Harry Dresden? Like,
He reads
how deep
old
does the
penthouse
rabbit hole,
porn
or is
from
it
the
all
80s.
religiosity with the fuzzy wuzzies?
No, when I was younger, I was a big Stephen King fan. Him and
I can see that.
There's another author
Yeah.
whose name's escaping me, but I'd read anything of theirs. That's for sure. Not anymore
No,
though.
he's-
Now it's just
Yeah, he's talking about now.
Did you ever read any Heinlein?
no. I don't know what that is.
Think you'd like it. He has it's a very egalitarian, freedom, libertarian / communal experience. It's hard to explain because
All right.
when he establishes a colony somewhere, he does it a certain way, and nobody has to deal with all the bullshit of life except survival. Because they're on another planet and everything's trying to kill them. So you see what I'm saying? It's a
That sounds like
it's a
Australia.
juxtaposition of sci-fi, but there's some deep philosophical roots in all of it.
I used to enjoy that stuff. Now that you mention it, growing up, spent a lot of time reading.
Said by a true scholar there, Austin.
Yeah,
Right?
reading's a waste of time is crazy. I feel like that's like
Crazy
the
word.
opposite of a trip. I work in a bookstore, so I'm probably biased.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know. I've had like really meaningful influence from books I've read, and I find it far more just intellectually stimulating and enjoyable than just watching the 10-second TikToks and whatnot. I know it can be hard to get
Oh,
back into if you have a shorter attention span. I've been there, but like it's definitely rewarding. Saying it's a waste of time is crazy. That's got to be rage bait.
Yeah.
Just FYI, people don't realize that they hide most of the secrets in this world in books because nobody fucking reads.
Well,
okay. Yeah.
That's why they hide them there, is just to mess with you, Scott.
Oh, I read dumb shit. Are you the
That's why it
flathead
messes
one?
with you.
Remember, you flathead, flat Earth,
Yeah.
The
flathead.
trick is learning how to read.
that. Learning how to comprehend and to understand what you're reading. That's a big part of it too.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that called like hermeneutics or something? It's
And
like a whole
language
field of
leaves-
study around like figuring out how to
Hooked on
interpret readings.
phonics.
It worked for me.
Oh, I think Ruby's onto something.
Oh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but
Yeah,
it's just something I've read
something
about. It's just like, I mean, it's generally described as a field of understanding how to read the Bible and how to understand these stories within a context that makes sense. I think it's called hermeneutics. I don't know, and it's probably applied to the Bible, but also in philosophy and to any book that you're reading. It's just
It's etymology or etymology or something like that, right? Right, the study of language, isn't it, rather than etymology?
Linguistics.
Yeah. Etymology is fascinating too.
Linguistics is different, but it's etymology or that. The beginnings of the language that we understand, of where it comes from, the construct of language. And we write it from cuneifer, from the languages of old, and how we say it to what we understand. That's why we speak in English right now, right? We're all speaking English, and English is a fantastic language.
It's
the low vibration,
Sort
low
of disagree
frequency.
on that point. There are certain things you can't speak about in English. Like, try to have one conversation with a time traveler and let me know how that goes.
Well, you can't.
Because it's a newer language. I mean, it's definitely interesting because it's like there's translations, like there's books that have been translated, but like the translation is colored by the translator's perception of it, and they make a lot of judgment calls. So for me, it's also been helpful in understanding the Bible more, is looking into the etymology of the words and the different translations, and seeing certain things that I was confused about in more clarity.
Yeah, but the trick is not to get caught up in the etymology as opposed to what it's trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Bruce.
When we were talking earlier on, I believe, what did I say?
The problem with the English language is the multiple meanings. You have words that literally have.
Shut up, Scott. Question for Jack. Why the furrow brow?
He's always got one.
Because of Scott.
It's a nature thing with Jack. He's furrowed.
Rusty, I love you, man. Thank you. But it was the Scott question that brought the furrow.
Oh, now we go to the truth.
No.
So what's wrong with my question? Listen,
it was Jack that said it, not Flo.
Please. Actually, this conversation.
Listen, level. Which is it? Is it a fucking tool? Is it you're on the level or is something level?
Please stop.
That's why the English language is difficult, and it's a fucking low vibration language. It's not like Spanish.
Kind of like Scott.
Please stop. So,
Chuck, motherfucker.
Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Chuck.
So, along these lines, though, the thought that did arise, when you think about it, there are so many perspectives to learn about, right? Learning about the history of the language. How did the language come? How did the customs evolve? How did we get to this point? And admittedly, I was talking about this earlier today, too. One of the things I'm very proud of is my practice of gratitude and thinking about where things came from, right? The source of things. How did it get to here? That was actually what really helped me with my practice of gratitude. So I guess the message, what I've learned since my days of drinking is keep learning, right? because learning is a part of growth. And there was something else there, but
listen, Jack, I had a girlfriend from Brazil that had a master's in linguistics and pedagogy. We were together for about 5 years. She spoke 6 languages, and literally she said English is it's the lowest vibration language, hardest to teach, hardest to understand, because it's just full of bullshit. And it is the language of commerce that they share around the world because it's the easiest to understand on a little simple level, not in depth, not as a scholar.
What you know of that?
Shut your face, flathead.
You
a
can't say
little
that, buddy.
face.
No. English is that. It is very descriptive, and it's actually, yeah, you're right, easy to learn and talk over. But also, the empire drew its lines. That's what happened. People
the what?
adopted it. The empire. It's about that. That's why we speak English, bro.
Something was just said here. Teaching the people the simple way. In the simple concept, commerce is pretty easy, right? You take this and it's worth that, and you exchange it for this, which is worth that. And that's how we got convinced of this money system, right? Because in theory, it sounds simple. But the reality is, once you get into the fractional reserve debt-based system, right? It's all about manipulation and exploitation.
Are you sure?
Yes, Chuck.
On an individual level, if a man gives me $1, it's still $1 to me, and if I use it to buy something else, it's still $1 on that level, is it not?
Well, so if civilization collapse, then it's not really worth much at all. You'll wipe your ass with it.
That's not a relevant scenario. The dollar's a storage of value. It's a tender of value. And if you think about it, 100 and some odd years ago in 1913, $1 would buy you 17 loaves of bread. You can't get a loaf of bread for fucking $17 hardly now. It's crazy.
You don't need 17 loaves of bread.
It's all made up.
The point being is that they claim they decrease the numbers. They can just print all they want, and it takes your value and takes it to shit.
Right. It's all pretend. It's all made up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chuck, what you're saying, yeah, it's true if other people will pretend with you. And as long as you got other people who are willing to play pretend with you, well, yeah, the make-believe system can continue. And as long as the make-believe system continues, well, we've got people like the billionaire.
Where's the make believe at? That's what I want to understand.
The make believe is now you have to make a average family in 2021 had to make about $56,000 a year to afford a fucking $400,000 house. Today they have to make about $106,000 a year to afford the same house. The payment, instead of being $1,200 a month, is going to be over $2,000 a month. It's unreal what they've done in 4 years to the money system, and that just means your dollar that you think is always $1 is going to be $1. It's fucked off sideways, lost 60% of its value. It's in months, not years, not decades, in fucking 60 months.
The point is, there's the entire economic system. It's all made up. And the fact that we collectively allow the Epstein class to exist, right? This owning class, at the same time as we know we've got people sleeping in the streets. We've got hardworking mothers and fathers barely making it, right? Trying to keep the lights on and keep their kids clothed and make it to school on time. This ain't a way for people to live. It's really not.
It's the dusty bankers.
You're taking such a negative viewpoint on how life actually goes.
Chuck, I'm being honest. You've got your head in the sand.
I don't know, Talcott. I have to disagree with you, man. It's not that bad. It's getting better for most people.
I mean, if people would learn to live within their means as opposed to wanting to live like the Rockefellers.
Hey, Chuck, that's a very selfish and self-centered view that you're making. You're making that statement as someone who
15 minutes of my
Well,
time.
may I ask what's wrong with that view? Why is it disgusting? Why is it self-centered?
I was trying to explain, but I guess Plastic African's got something to say.
I just wanted to grab some attention about what's happened because of Iran.
Yeah. It's a great example.
The whole situation.
What's the latest?
What it actually means. Well, that's not the latest. What I'm looking at is the game or the end game. Is technically, do you think that they've actually created all this uranium, of course, these rods, and they've done it over this enterprise, and America has to collapse it all and then go, hey, this is ours now, basically. Like they did it in Iraq, Libya, I would say. Those enterprises, maybe.
I think we're not so bright to fuck with a bear like that you poke it, and then we may get rid of their enriched uranium on their own land, but the potential for the bombs, the dirty bombs that have fucking run around this world that have come up missing.
That's why they have to go get it back. That's why they have right now. There's plans to go do it. It's happening. There's no other way. It's part of the project.
That's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it is the right thing. I believe so. Yes, sir. I do. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm more worried about the other instigator within the region because of it's,
it's going to be messy.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't think there was another way. I think that regardless if people want to pin this on Hegseth, they want to talk bad about Trump, there was a problem that was growing right there, and they openly finally admitted they weren't doing this for power plants. They were doing this for weapons grade. And
every time Scott talks, Jack gets that face look. Jack, can I point something out to you?
Please.
You have 113 viewers, and I was your 18th like. I have 30 viewers and 30 likes. You should make a poll in your chat reminding people to like.
Yeah.
Smash the like button, people. I mean, I think that it helps the algorithm. It helps me personally feel good when people like things and not dislike them.
Yeah, no, you're right. When I've done a poll, it does do more. And you notice the eyebrows. Scott, you're not getting it today again. I appreciate what you bring.
Did I say something wrong, Jack? My apologies.
No, you just say too much.
I've talked. Okay, so I'll sit back in the background. Let's hear what goes on.
They're not ready for your truth, Scott. Bide your time.
Flathead, thank you for that information.
I mean, it's honestly, I've been frustrated, but I'm trying not to be frustrated anymore. But holy cows, dude, Scott, you're engaging in conversations with everybody. Right? Anyone who speaks up, you jump in and you have conversations with them. And I was trying to actually explain. And Scott, you're interrupting me again. And I was trying to explain something. African interrupted to bring us back to Iran, and then you and him took off on that conversation. So I'm trying to wonder, what are you doing, guys? Please.
Jack, what do you think about Iran and the things that we just discussed? How about that?
In addition to that, I keep getting this stupid notice that people are trying to join. So, Scott, please don't press my patience, okay? The heck was I trying to say earlier?
I think it was related to the outlook on life. I think is where we were at before we got off in Iran.
Chuck had
I'm
said
not.
that people need to learn to live within their means, and you replied, "That is a selfish."
Thank you. Thank you. That is the point I wanted to get back to. And I don't mean any disrespect to you, Chuck, but this idea of, everything, it's okay because it's not that bad for me. Guys, we've got to start thinking of other people. And for you to say that in the face of the news and what we've been talking about, it's just dumbfounding to me. I used to think the world wasn't that bad. I had a secure job. I had a good routine. I had everything an American needs, right? But I wasn't happy. I was miserable. And then my life changed and I started caring about others. And guys, I'm serious.
Why were you miserable?
I was
When you live for yourself, that will always, it tends to make you miserable because we're designed to relate and love each other.
That's not what I was saying. You can still help others. I'm not saying be selfish and hoard everything to yourself.
Okay.
But by living within your means, you tend to accumulate more, which
And
gives
what
you
about
more to
those
share with those
unable?
around you.
Chuck, sorry to interrupt, but again, what about those who are unable, no matter their best efforts? No matter how hard they try, they're working as many hours as they can. They're begging the boss for more opportunities. What about them, Chuck? Live within your means, says Chuck.
Well, that philosophy has got me to where I'm at today. I mean, I'm not a rich
I
man.
know, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to be judgmental because you're not
And I
doing
and I
anything wrong. You're doing it
and I
your
and
way.
I help the community. I can't help the world, but I can help the community in which I live.
Okay, but Chuck, here's been part of my frustration. You don't see yourself in the same community as me, but I feel like I can maybe try and change the world, and I'm trying to change the world. But this community that you and I are both in, seems
What
to be
about the
quite
guy?
different.
What about the guy next door? Forget the world. What about just helping the guy next door? Is there something wrong with that?
Who are you
That I'm
talking
able
about?
to help him through a day as opposed to trying to help the entire world.
You can do both.
If I help,
right?
if I help the guy next door who helps the guy next door, it kind of grows.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing that, or are you just talking about it, Chuck? Because honestly, I'm not sure why you're bringing it up. I mean, I guess we should focus on you. Maybe
I'm going from the bottom up approach is where I'm coming from. Because if you're good and then you're able to help those around you, they become good and it keeps expanding. That circle keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
And eventually maybe the whole world will undertake that. But
I'm pretty sure that's what Jesus was talking about, right? The mess.
my vernacular is not the best, so maybe it's not coming across the way it's meant to sound.
Well, I have a question for Jack. Have you noticed? I personally feel like I'm noticing like people are starting to cluster like at the ends of good and evil more, and like there's a big spiritual revival, potentially end times. Any thoughts about that?
I believe that we
What do you think about it?
I don't know. I feel like in what I observe online and in my day-to-day interactions, I'm seeing a lot of like true bizarre evil, and then also like the best of humanity. It just seems like everything's been magnified lately. I guess that's an easier question than throwing in the end times part.
Well, I think we are. This is it. I've been saying this for a while. All the signs seem to point to that. And I realize it could be just where I'm looking, the things that I'm seeing. But it does seem everything I'm learning and hearing, the world is transitioning. We are in this time of an energetic change. And that's going to result in a change in our consciousness. And a change in our consciousness will change the way we interact with each other. And this is what I've been saying is the solution for our world. Let's work together and change how we interact with each other. Because based on the geology, based on the patterns of the sun, based on the patterns of economics and the war climate, it's time for people to change the way we live together, isn't it?
That's what I'm on board with that. So I agree. But I see that all the time, and it's like, I have struggled with mental health, so I'm constantly questioning, like, am I just like going psychotic? Am I becoming too like paranoid or something? But it doesn't scare me. I see like, I just noticed a shift. It's and it's really compelled me to take drastic measures in my own life just to be clear-minded and ready to go forward, even if it's just not like end times or anything biblical, but just the way society is going, civilization, major concerns about AI, wealth inequality, war, nuclear meltdown, could be anything. It's definitely the time to,
Hey, Jack, can I suggest something? Jack, how you doing, Jack? By the way, Jack, I hope you're having a good day. Everything she just said is all through the purview of living in the greatest country at the greatest time with the most resources and wealth. I just think
I'm incredibly blessed. I love being American.
Ma'am, can I speak? Or thank you, ma'am.
A long time to see, Imperious. I missed you.
Everything you were identifying right here, like that you were saying all this wealth inequality. Do you even know what wealth inequality really is?
It's when like a small percent of the population is hoarding and controlling the resources and using their monopoly of power to do evil in the world.
Yeah. What is evil?
But that's not to say I'm anti. Like I feel so privileged to be an American, to be born in this time period. There's so many.
You're manic. Settle down. What is evil? What is evil? How do you define evil, and how do you create a parameter?
The complete absence of goodness in God.
But what is good?
Beautiful.
Goodness is, for me, it's generally like pro-social behaviors that glorify God and love and promote loving one another. Jesus said that love fulfills the law.
I agree.
Again, you're discussing things in a vague manner.
No, wait, Imperious, please. I think she's answering pretty well. I really am.
She's not answering at all. She's saying good. Well, what is good?
Well,
because to me,
why don't you know?
Well, it's kind of like how zero is like an absolute lack of heat. It's kind of like in that spectrum is my perception.
But you're still looking at something in the purview of a lens or a parameter. You're looking at good in.
And what is
yeah? Well, then enlighten me. Like lay it on me, brother. I'm ready.
What is good and evil is dictated to you. If you lived in Pakistan,
like culturally,
Imperious, that's absurd. That's absurd.
Well, then why is child rape okay in Pakistan, Jack? Why is that a cultural norm?
It's not. It's not.
Yes,
okay.
it is. No. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Jack, have you been to Pakistan?
Imperious.
Have you been to Pakistan?
No, I have not.
Well, I know people who have, and the law in Pakistan is children with young girls under the age of 11.
No.
Isn't that like a red bird where somebody just like takes a random thing to like talk about?
Imperious. Please allow me to address what he was bringing because that was absolute chaos and nonsense. What Imperious was trying to claim is that good and evil are dictated to you. He said that, did he not?
Yeah.
Basically,
he's trying to say like there's no objective morality. Everything is subjective, and you just believe that because you're a sheep person following your culture with no like insight about the outside world whatsoever. We get it, Imperious. Big brain.
But then he brought up his example. His foundation for his argument was he believes in the law, apparently, allegedly written in another state. He believes the law dictates what's good and evil.
I
suggest
think he's
that's
an
what
agitator.
are
I
taught.
don't even think he believes that. Like
And
Ruby,
usually
can
when
you
he calls
sit
him
the
my pill,
fuck
he just
down?
like
Can
yells
you sit
dick,
the fuck
dick,
down,
dick, and the
Ruby?
N-word. So
Ruby,
that's
can you sit your ass down, please?
no.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe I am manic. That was one correct thing you said. But actually, I do have to hop off because I'm going to my AA meeting. It starts at 7.
Okay,
But thank you so much
I
for
got
having
a
me
quick
on. It was nice
question
to see
for you,
everyone.
Ruby. Ruby, when you
What's
go
up?
to those meetings, I said, Ruby, when you go to those meetings, are you going there for yourself? Or are you going there for others? Or
I'm going there to connect with other addicts who have my experience, so I'm not relying on strangers online as much as I have, because that's
Chuck,
super
let her
hard.
get out of here before we all blow
She's
up.
going
All right.
for
Okay. Bye,
you,
everyone.
Chuck. She's going for you,
Thank you,
Chuck.
Ruby. Thank you, Ruby.
You
no, I'm
simply
just
little
always
prick.
fascinated. I'm always fascinated. I like to hear their
It's
connection
not your
stories.
business what she's going for.
Holy
Oh my
cow.
God.
I actually want to bring Imperious up to, and I don't mean to be a jerk, Tom, but I got frustrated
You
because the
were a
energy.
jerk. I'm talking about abstract ideas, and you take things personally and emotionally like a child. Why can't you have an adult conversation about abstract
You
ideas,
don't
Jack?
allow it. Let's
The
do
irony.
it. Let's have this conversation because I actually presented my.
Why can't? Okay, well then, Jack. Okay, here's a
counter-
conversation, Jack. Here's a conversation.
Yeah.
Do you want a conversation, or do you want to talk about emotions and feelings and individual subjective feelings and things? Here's a suggestion, Jack. I believe that forced automated breeding is the way forward in human society.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, if women today say that they refuse to breed, and the human species is on trajectory
tell you
for
that.
extinction.
They haven't told the rest of us that.
Well, that's what the numbers say. So you can read the numbers. I know, Dusty, you're a simp. But here's the reality.
Yeah,
My
the
question
numbers
to
don't
all
say
you,
that for human
again,
race.
Jack, can you have some respect on the panel, Jack, or do immature children need to be dropped? Because it seems like Flo can't let people speak.
Well,
because he has emotion like a woman.
Just get your stuff.
So again, I'll speak about the abstract again. I know, Dusty, you don't want to think about your girl being gang raped, but it's the reality.
Imperious, why do you gotta get
My point
disgusting
is
all the
this.
time?
My point is this.
Imperious
My
is
point is this.
advocating for rape.
Again, you don't have morals to be judging anything. You don't have a moral framework to judge anything other than what your vagina makes you tingle.
You know what?
Other than
It's very possible that Imperious is the least intelligent person on the panelverse.
Lou, I might have to agree with you.
I'm not going to drop to. I'm not going to drop to insults, especially on his intelligence. Now, his levels of self-control, self-awareness, lacking. Hey, Imperious, you're welcome to join me again. Just drop the attitude and try a different approach, because that domineering, arrogant, it doesn't work.
The thing is, his premise was wrong anyway. He said that the numbers that say that women are not having enough children. No, only white women in white countries are not having enough, children in replacement numbers. There ain't a problem in India. Believe me, there is no problem in India. They're like a billion strong.
Or the Philippines.
Or Zimbabwe or Somalia. They've got plenty of leering centers in Somalia, trust me.
But that happens anytime there's a first world, a more affluent first world, they have less children. Generally, that's how it goes. The more comfortable people are, the less children they have.
Yeah, the problems are first world nations, essentially. The Western European, North American, Japanese, South Koreans. The developer, even the Emiratis are now having issues. The Emiratis, the freaking Arabs.
Everywhere but Africa is having a issue repopulating the planet at replacement levels.
But it takes a severe level of inceldom to then spin your social paradigm to where you think that rape is okay because Pakistan or wherever he said allows it, and that you need to enforce breeding, right? Like that's
it's a state of fear. He lives in a state of fear. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
I wouldn't even say a state of fear. I would say that that's just Because it wasn't delusion, because it wasn't just grape. He specifically went after Dusty and tried to say something bad about Dusty's family.
Well, before that,
you don't pick up those
he
kind of lessons
Hold
from
on, Doc.
Blockbuster Video, Orthodox guy. You don't pick those up there.
Before that, he said that morality is dictated by authorities. That's why grape is okay in whatever country he's mentioned.
Right. Yeah. That's absurd.
Well, authorities do have a part in it, but it's a combination between culture, authority, and typically religion.
Well, this is something that I've given a lot of thought to, is the basis of authority. I mean, if with graphs it'd make more sense and be a little easier, but it really is, all authority is a position. It's a position within a structure, an organization. Now, what gives that position leverage over others? It's where the information goes through, right? Anyone in a management position, they're going to be fed information based on what their area of responsibility is, and the authority is simply a decision maker. We're all decision makers. We all have the capacity of authority.
Well, authority in this regard would be the enforcers of that morality, that social contract, because that's all morality is in the context that we're speaking of.
Yeah.
Well,
because in the religion of sorry, go on.
Well, go ahead, please, because
I says I can read it for you. Isn't God an authority, dummy? LOL. The fact is that I mean, in the religion of Islam, grape of your wife is not grape at all. There is no such thing, not such concept of graping your wife. Your wife cannot be graped by you as the husband. You can plow her as you would your field. That is literally the word of God.
That's crazy. That's crazy work.
I got a little.
When was the last time you plowed, Flo?
Unfortunately, my morality dictates that I can't plow as I would my field, so I have to get permission.
All right.
How do you know if you don't have the conversation? If you don't have the conversation, how do you know Imperius wasn't making some kind of point, or maybe he was making a play or an irony?
Because the direction and the tone, he wasn't open to a discussion.
Because we met Imperius.
I know a guy like that because he seems to be mistaken that he even acts out the point that authority comes with power. Just like here on your little pussy fucking panel, you have all your false power and you get pompous authority, but anywhere else and you get
submarine.
I turned your audio up, but your audio absolutely sucks, Tom. And your attitude is worse. So,
you got that little
is because we all know Imperius from past experience. We know where he's coming from and where he's going.
That's why I knew exactly how to bait him out.
Imperius is just fearful and unregulated. That's what he is. He's afraid of everything in the world. That's why he lashes out so much at everything.
this group, we're people, we're reflections of each other. We all have these tendencies and potentials to just truly be bizarre. Duck, you are so bizarre to me, dude. You're like, I don't know. I mean,
Sorry,
if
Jack,
you
I
look
just got back from a run. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I don't
Manic depressive, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Hey, Samsonite, interesting stream. It's been certainly all over the place again tonight. But guys, I really do believe we've got everything we need It's just a matter of getting things aligned and getting off our asses and deciding to do something. But we've got all the reasons in the world to do something and confront this United States government.
Jack, can I yell at the rest of the panel for a minute and tell them they're trash?
Please do. Please.
Okay. Aside from Orthodox guy who never cams up, I don't know what the rest of you boy fucks are doing. You've got cameras. You're never cammed up. You're just here in your underwear on your toilet, being dead ass weight. Mitch hasn't said a word.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you
I
shame
always
me
cam
into
up. I just
anything,
don't
Flo.
feel like it tonight.
I'm just here to advocate for my victims, but they're all playing hero right now, so my work's done.
All right.
You did good work,
Mitchell,
then,
are
Mitch.
you Jesus? I think Mitchell is Jesus.
I thought Jack was.
I was hoping we could crucify him and see if he comes back in 3 days.
God, I hate you, Lou. I wish you'd die. I just wanted to add, Jack, the lack of procreation in America is not because of the incel. It's because we're in the mouse experiment where these looks maxers on both male and female sides are doing themselves up to not fuck each other. Ava, long time no see. Come see me when I'm live.
Ava.
That didn't make no sense.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I can't cam right now. I'm in a bad way. I have a terrible cold.
You're fine. You're fine.
You're not fine. You're letting the whole team down. You're sitting here, you're sniffling on camera.
I know, Dusty. I know.
No, I appreciate you guys. And, I didn't mean.
Scott looking good.
Did Jack freeze?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
By the way, a quick note on
That's why I
Imperius.
shut my camera off, was for bandwidth.
Imperius gets off on just being an internet douche. That is his shtick. That is his thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a gripe against women in general. He always twists it to that angle where women bad, women are crap, and he's trying to figure out a way to approach the subject.
It could be his latent homosexuality. I don't know. Maybe the pastor touched him.
Why do you have a
many
pornographer
times.
on your channel that his money went to child porn?
Who are you talking about?
Hafiz, he's a pornographer.
Slanderous.
No. You're saying that no money in the porn. So you're saying money in the porn industry goes to child rape? Is that what you're saying? Can you?
I hope you can either lawyer up or have a good priest to confess to, sir. Your soul is in danger by such lies.
It's interesting that a lawyer's here saying that your industry protects bad people.
Yeah, harms children. It's most of those lawyers that get those child abusers off.
Wait, is there a true connection to porn? Do you have a job in porn?
I used to many years ago, 15 years ago. Now, of course, maybe
this
20
is a
years
porn
now.
store.
He just said
almost 20 years
15 years
ago now.
ago. Okay, 20
Yeah.
years ago. Does it mean he's doing it now, does it?
Oh no! I mean, the thing is, it was always a funny anecdotal story, and now these guys think I'm like, Ron Jeremy or some shit. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I just
I
held the
brought this
camera.
up in the past that it's kind of like
Well,
the way
Flo State knows
the way I
Ron
think about
Jeremy.
the way I think about that sort of adult work, that segment is that I forgot where I was going with it, but it was something good. I got to drop off, I think.
It's the oxalates in your brain that make that happen.
Regroup, Duck. Regroup.
He was going to call you a fluffer.
Well, a couple of interesting things there. Just because something happened in the past, I see people still want to drag that around and do that today. Hey, our poll, the super sticker, blessings to you for the contribution. Blessings and thank you, brother.
Jack, don't you have like a PayPal or something that you put up, or?
I do. Yeah, I got PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee,
Oh,
Cash
you should
App.
keep that information up instead of people putting shit on YouTube and they take 40% of it. Dumbasses.
It's in the,
put in
description. If people want to support, they can support. I don't. I
The
mean, I
thing
do.
about the thing about. I mean, hold on, but the visibility of donos is socially encouraging, so it's not a
Yes.
totally lost cost.
No, thank you, and that's actually
if
why.
If that's your primary purpose, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to promote a community, trying to promote solidarity, and so if people see contributions, yeah, I think it
Jackson,
helps.
Mr. Talcott.
Yes, sir.
Just per the AMA and Pieces the Path, what type of community education should I be working on, between shows, before sort of meeting the panelists each day? Like, is there something specific or generic that you would recommend here?
Meditation and prayer, perhaps?
Speak with God. Let him enter your heart. He will guide you.
Truthfully, it's a practice that I didn't understand for a long time, and I've been practicing and playing around more with meditation and prayer. And I tell you what, something I swear by now.
Heck yeah.
And really, we touched on it earlier, but the best thing to meditate on, to reflect on, it's gratitude. Because if you can find genuine appreciation, genuine gratitude for who you are and where you are and all that's around you, that's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be feeling loved and good, as though everything around you is for you. That's what faith is about.
But life isn't about feelings.
Chuck, that is what faith is about.
I thought it was a state of being as opposed to feeling.
Well, think about it, Chuck.
Yeah. Hey, Hafiz, can you account for every penny in that?
Let's stop. No, let's stop. You're not.
Hey, Imperious, can you assure me that every lawyer that has defended a child predator to try to get them out of prison hasn't actually managed to get those child predators out of prison? Isn't the law profession literally keeping child predators out of prison?
No, they only defend people who are actually innocent.
Right. Always, of course. I've never known a scum-sucking lawyer defending a piece of shit.
Well, Flo had a lawyer. Does that count? I had a lawyer.
I did have a lawyer, and he did his job. God bless him for it.
How much did yours cost, Flo? How much did your lawyer cost?
Oh God, probably 30 grand.
Yeah, I was right at 50.
I got the friend price.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah. If because they set retainers off of bond, I think if my retainer to get him in the first place would have been 50 grand if I hadn't been friends with him. But
I made the mistake and decided to sue a state. I guess that's why mine was more.
that's an uphill battle.
Yes, it was, but I won. By golly, I won.
What did you need a lawyer for, Chuck? What did you do?
It was the fact of the state
Domestic.
said that grandparents didn't have any rights, and I was trying to prove that they did.
You mean your grandchildren?
Yeah.
Your children hated you that much that didn't want you to be around their children?
No. The state was trying to intercede and claim that grandparents had no rights, had no say so, had no skin in the game when it came to grandchildren. And I didn't agree with that.
Lou, aren't you the one that hasn't talked to his daughter in quite a while?
Well, the one's missing.
Talk to my kids all the
The one
time.
I don't know where
What are
she's
you
at.
talking about?
Then that must have changed, because I remember there was a point in time where your daughter wasn't.
Hey, listen, just because during COVID and my daughter was going through postpartum depression and we had a little thing, doesn't mean we don't talk to each other. I literally go there and see my grandchildren, and she comes here too. I don't know what you're talking about. All of my kids, other than the ones in Florida that I don't see until they come and they live. Well, my son's going to be living at my place now because he doesn't want to bring his trailer back from Florida. So he's going to stay in one of my apartments. But my kids, I have never lost
He's
contact
coming
with
back
my kids.
to Canada from Florida. That's a big change.
Yeah, he comes up here in the summertime. He buys and sells shit is what he does, actually. And he buys freshwater boats up here. Really, some of them are $500,000. And people in Florida want these. So then he'll bring them down to Florida in the winter and sell them off to Americans because there's no rust and because they're better quality when they're sitting in freshwater.
We got a code yellow eyebrow warning.
Oh, right.
Oh, I see the lovely Mel has returned. Welcome back, Mel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chuck. I actually have a question for Jack, too.
Men and women, eh, Chuck?
Well, I always enjoy Mel. Has good conversation.
Mel's not going to fuck you, okay, Chuck? Get over it.
Chuck and I have butted heads more so than not. So I think he's being quite a stand-up guy right now. This is a question for both Jack and the panel in general. Do we think people are innately selfish, or is this like a nature versus nurture thing? I think it's nurture. I think
it's society driven.
Right. Yeah. Humans are some of the most altruistic species compared to any other animal. There's evidence that we used to chew food for our elders when they lose their teeth. Just so that way they can
used to,
right? But you know what? They got to enjoy their last bit of life without starving.
I don't think they enjoyed it.
You say that as an old person.
Look, if I'm ever in that situation, just let me die.
But anyways,
Mel is
I do think we're
actually
some
right,
of the most
though.
altruistic creatures out there, and so I think the potential's there. And we see that the most. We see the most altruism when we need each other in times of disaster and stuff like that.
Are you saying altruism or altruism?
Altruism, yeah, altruism, sure.
Okay.
That's such a gross mental image.
What really makes us selfish is being disenfranchised from our community, not feeling like people will have our backs and we will have us, we have theirs. So you either see people who are poor and there's no supports for that in your community, so they feel disenfranchised from community, or people who are rich. And as we know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you probably just become disenfranchised from the power and classism alone.
I disagree with that, because a person out there making money and they happen to start making more money doesn't mean they're a bad person.
No, yeah, not necessarily. But I think when you say this, the statement absolute power corrupts absolutely means that you cannot accumulate infinite power without accumulating infinite corruption.
Good question.
So you could apply that to money, for example, right? And it people do say that, like, the more money you get, the more you tend to think about just making more money, and you stop caring about other things. I know it's more like a trope, but
it's not universal.
The thing is with money is a gateway to power. Money isn't on its own isn't actually the thing that most of these people who make money actually are after. It's the gateway to, influence, make friends and influence people. So ultimately what you end up, because there's only so many yachts you can buy, there's only so many mansions and planes and trains and automobiles you can acquire. The fact is that once you reach a certain level, then really what matters is your influence and ability to enact your will upon the world, hence power.
Okay.
So money is just a gateway to power. Ultimately, it all ends with power.
So I want to respond to Hank's question, by the way, because he did pay for it, and so I think he deserves an answer.
Please.
Please. But first, I just want to point out, Hafez, that I sort of agree with you. I think one key thing is that money is something that, like, if you just provided people their basic needs, and money wouldn't become so essential to life, and therefore it wouldn't be as much of a duality. Money would be something that now only people who live in luxury have and tend to be isolated. But that would be going down a rabbit hole on its own. So I'm going to get to Hank's thing. I don't believe in God, right? So if I'm going to answer that from the framework as God as I know it, I don't think God can be corrupted based on the meta. So that wouldn't work.
I agree with you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for Hank as well.
The thing is, if you guys have ever seen a video called Rules for Rulers, it's a video based on a book, The Dictator's Handbook. Once you look at earthly power, shall we say, the power of someone who is a god king on earth, you will find that no king rules alone. You need people to build your bridges, to police your society, to run your armies. So every king has keys to their power, those who run the country. And so the reason the person with power gets corrupted is because the keys to his power are also corruptible. And they have the same problem, just another level down. And that is why a human being can be corrupted with ultimate power. God doesn't have those issues. God doesn't need people to run his armies, doesn't need corrupted humans to run to plow his fields and run his police force. God is all powerful. God can do it all on his own, so he does not require anyone in order to be corrupted by them and influenced by them.
Yeah, I guess another way you could say that is God exists with that power already, so God can't really be corrupted when that is the essence of God's being. But
money, as far as I'm concerned, money can corrupt if it's unearned. Generally, if someone earns the money and they go from, let's say, rags to riches, they are generally more, those people that have earned that money are generally more altruistic with it. And the people like their children who never earned it are more the other way.
I've seen the exact opposite experience, particularly.
I mean, it's not universal, but
I agree with you that there are people who have been through hard times, and so they certainly become more cautious about giving out their money, and I've seen that. But I've also seen cultures of people coming to the park. All those people are poor, and they just share stuff so that way they can all have a bit more than they would have if they kept all their stuff to themselves. And on the other hand, I think one of the things money can do is it can allow you to buy freedom from justice. And so one of the biggest corruptors is when you don't have consequences for your actions. You can buy your way out of the consequence. And now you feel like you can just do it again. And sorry, Lou, just to nail down that point one more way, right? I've been a thief. I mostly stole from corporations, except for when I was a younger kid that didn't understand the difference and why it was wrong. But when I stole, it wasn't just that corporations are bad. It was that I could see the people who work in individual shops as being people who would give me food if I was hungry. And so I know that's just an anecdote, but I really think it's harder to steal from people, for example, when you know that they would give you a loaf of bread if you were in need, especially if you've been in that position before where you needed that loaf of bread.
Well, I don't know. I think, you see a lot of these very high elites and the Epstein people. I think the money has corrupted them because I believe that they've experienced everything that they can experience when money is no object. And so then nothing makes them satisfied anymore. And so they become evil.
Yeah.
They turn to evil because it gives them some feeling, which they don't get anymore from anything else.
And we live in
a society for another man.
I'm sorry?
Can you think for another man, though, Lou? Have you been in that position of having
No,
stockpiles of money
I'm
and
just
jets and
obviously
planes?
speculating. It's
Oh,
obviously
okay.
speculating. I'm not. I've never had
But
so much money that money was no object, and I can do anything I wanted. So I don't know.
yeah, but the thing is, even what you would interpret as evil may not be what they actually see as evil. You see, this is the weird thing that most people don't sort of realize, and it's happening to this very day, but people just don't want to admit it. The little mustache man and the people of Germany, they didn't think of themselves as evil for doing what they did. They thought they were doing the thing for the greater good. They were doing it for the greater goodness of the German people, same as the Russians and the Stalinists, and the Maoists. Nobody does things because they know they're evil. They do these things that we judge to be evil later, but they do it thinking they're doing the righteous thing. A lot of them thought they were doing God's work, believe it or not.
Yep.
You think the
The
Italians
Germans
thought
were
they
the
were
most
being
moral
evil?
army that has ever existed. They followed every rule. The
Yeah.
Germans.
So when someone who becomes immensely rich and then becomes bored of spending money, quite often they try to have some kind of mission, because for most men certainly we need a quest in life. We need a hero's journey, and Elon Musk's quest is getting to Mars. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much his sole focus right now.
Well, he kind of
Whilst
sucks at it.
well, whether he sucks at it or whether he's good at it, that's his quest, that's his mission. Other people find other meaning in life. And I don't know what Bezos is, but generally, most of these people pick up some kind of righteous cause and they want to go at it. And they may do terrible things along the way, but they never think of themselves as evil. They just think this is a means to an end. Once I get to that greater end, everything will be fantastic.
So Hafez,
So
you
they're
actually
doing
make a really
that
great point.
if they're let Jack
Sorry,
speak.
can I quickly just get a final response? And you do make a great point. And bringing this back to whether or not I think people are selfish, I think it's a bad thing that Elon Musk
agree,
wants to go
Jack.
to Mars, because that's giving the rich a way out of all
Hey,
the
Melanie.
damage done to the planet. Yeah, sorry. I just
Go,
trying
Jack.
to wrap it up.
I know, but I've been patient. Okay. You guys
I
have
didn't
been
know you were
talking
waiting.
a while. I know you want to finish your thoughts, but really the contribution, Hafez, it sounds like you kind of said, I think, what Imperius was trying to say too, is that people say they're doing good and they don't actually always do it.
Yeah, I mean, that tends to be the case. No one actually believes. You see, this is the problem. Like, everybody has this cartoon caricature of an evil person. Most people who do terrible things are not doing it because they think they're evil. They actually think they're the righteous ones. They're doing God's work. They're doing the righteous thing.
They think they're doing
It's
God's work when they harm a child.
Yes.
quite.
Some
There were
do.
conquistadors that were literally smashing pagan children's heads against the rocks when they reached the New World, and they were doing it because they were sending these children to heaven, according to them, because these were
Well-
pagan, unbaptized children.
And in Israel right now, I've heard some of the statements, right? Those Palestinian children are going to grow up to be Arabs. So damn the children, right? I mean,
Yeah. There are mothers.
Safaris.
There are
They have
also
safaris
Palestinian.
where they target children.
Well,
That's
possibly,
true.
but I mean, there's also mothers who strap bombs to the children's chest, 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and send them off to be martyred and to go to seventh
Propaganda.
heaven.
It's propaganda.
No, I've
For the
seen
good.
these.
It's
I have
propaganda.
seen these.
It
Dude,
happened in
Generally,
trust me when I
Vietnam.
that
tell
are
you, it's
threatened.
not propaganda.
They're
It
Trust me
threatened
when
to
I
have
happened
tell
their
you, it's not
in Vietnam. They used
propaganda.
children for those same
My friend,
diabolical.
Generally, they're people that have been threatened to have their
Lobus,
entire
Lobus,
family killed.
my best
So they
friend,
strap bombs to them and send them out in a car. So you
Lobus,
go or
my
your
best,
family dies.
my best friend was in the Iran-Iraq war on the front lines, just like literally across the road, across the way, a field was the Iraqis. He said he saw armies of 12-year-olds, Iranian 12-year-olds, where they would put them in some kind of like a mantra. They would literally pray
Exactly.
to them
Put them
overnight,
in.
No,
put
no, but
them.
what I
Those
mean is,
child,
yeah.
those
I'm not
children
saying the
didn't
child
choose
themselves
that.
wanted to. No, I'm not saying the child. It's the child's choice. I'm saying that they would literally pray to them over a 24-hour period, no sleep, and then they would have these children so fanaticized
Or
they would
drugged.
run over minefields.
Or
No, they would run
drugged.
over. That's how they would. Well, I don't know about drugs. They said there were no
Yes, they
drugs,
use
but
drugs
the
a
fact
lot.
is that they would actually make these, essentially, put these kids in some sort of religious trance so that they would run over and clear minefields. That's what they would use children to clear minefields in the Iran-Iraq war. The Iranians, this is the Iranians, by the way. So these things happen. These
No, it's
people are
most
fanatical,
likely
but they
ISIS, not
believe
Iran.
that they're. Oh no, this was the Iran-Iraq war. This was back in the 80s. This was when my friend was
ISIS
in
has
the
been
war.
around for a while.
No, this was, dude. I'm talking about the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s.
In the 80s, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about that era because that's when my friend was in the war. He was literally on the front lines. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they didn't think they were doing this for evil purposes. The people who were doing these to these kids were not doing it. They thought all these kids are going to heaven. They were giving them little plastic keys that were made in Taiwan, and they told these kids, these are the keys to heaven. Run over this minefield and you will go to heaven. And not only that, in the Islamic religion, you can take all your family members with you when they die too. So if you die as a martyr in Islam, you not only go to heaven yourself, you can take your family members when they die. So
Well,
these
this is
kids
how
were
crazy the world is, and this is what we've
Yeah.
got to change for sure.
There's a billion or more Islamics around the world, and it's only a tiny percentage of them that are this type of thing that you're talking about. And generally they've been manipulated into being that by other forces that none of us can see.
People.
Yeah, and my central point, I don't want to take this. I don't want to take this
Spiritual
to. Yeah, I don't want to take this to like a religious thing. I'm just saying, most people who do terrible things, it's the classic saying, the path to heaven, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. People think these are the right things to do, and that's how they pave their way to hell, is because they don't realize sometimes you have to be big.
It's the road to hell is paved with good intentions because
you throw him
Did he just get executed?
No, he got disconnected. Something happened there.
Yeah, there's
Sorry
a
about
lot
that.
of forces that create these situations, and I'm not convinced that it's not coming from the same place that's doing to Palestine what they're doing today, and it's the same people doing it around the world.
It's evil. It's
Look.
truly biblical darkness. It's evil. And
My-
there is
my-
evil that's been in control. But guys, this is the whole message of what I'm saying. I believe that the prophecy is good news, right? People, at some point, the idea is for us to reclaim this world from the selfish and the cruel, to restore it in divine goodness.
Look, my central position has always been, when people think they are absolutely right, without any doubts and without any consultation, and that without any hesitation that they may be wrong, that this might actually not be the right course to take. To me, anyone who thinks they are 100% right is a dangerous person. And you give that person power and armies to rule, you're in a lot of trouble.
Right. And that's what I've been saying. We're enabling the problem. We got to stop enabling these people. Donald Trump has no power except he's been given all these power, right? Everyone's enabling this nonsense, enabling Hegseth, deploying thousands of people off to combat, right? Because the boss says it's time to go. The hell are we doing, guys?
That's
As
the
I
way the
pointed out
military
earlier,
set up.
Trump and people like that, they have the ability to pay to isolate themselves, to, even if they do something bad, to use the media to spin it as good. their wealth actually kind of, in a way, reduces our responsibility, because whatever we want, they can just do whatever they want.
Well, there's consequences for everything. And we live in this society where everyone thinks they're divided, right? One nation is separate from another nation. One neighbor is separate from another neighbor. But it's all pretend. Guys, we are all one life experience. There is one God, one truth. We are all a part of this time in history. And the goal of everything is to figure out how to get along with each other. Because if we can do that, we can succeed.
I think the issue is, and this is just maybe something to think about. I'm not telling you have to change everything right this second. But when you tell people to feel responsible for something, but they also have no real power to change that, it leaves them feeling disempowered and disenfranchised.
Well, who determines what one can and cannot do?
The person who holds power.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Yes and no. A lot of times it's illusions. Right now, we've got
in a relationship, like an abusive relationship for sure. For example, and sorry to go to extremes, but it's just something that may be a bit more relatable because it's one-on-one. The person who's being abused is not determining the terms of that relationship. It's the person with the power. It's the person who's doing
I disagree.
Chuck, do you have a lot of experience with abusive relationships?
Somewhat.
Okay.
But,
and
I'm just saying.
I take all his Social Security.
You realize that would also, in most cases where both people are the parents, that would also mean that you get your children taken away from you potentially because you're not mentally stable.
Says a T.
Is a woman or a man that's in an abusive relationship not responsible for themselves? I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just asking the question. I'm just asking the question. Are they not responsible for the abuse they receive if they stay in that relationship?
No, because it's not that simple. It's way
it is. Lou, no, it is. It's not that simple because this is an imagined scenario in Melanie's mind. So
it's even beyond my point.
Any complications that benefit the example are going to be brought up. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that simple.
It is a bad example, so I'm sorry about that. My point was that the person in power tends to decide the terms. That's part of having power.
Again,
no,
the
it's not true.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Jack. Sorry.
No, tell you what. You guys can keep arguing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you. I apologize, Jack.
Thank you. The appearances of power are often mistaken. Okay. And I really want to press back against that statement that you were so confident about, Melanie, because, yeah, in the absence of ownership of power, people get convinced they're powerless. They can't do anything. And if someone feels powerless and they can't do anything, guess what? They accept the abuse. And I think that's where Lou was going to, is if someone sees the abuse and they don't leave, well, they're participating in it, right? But we live in this abusive relationship, Melanie, nonetheless, between the citizens of the land and this government. It is a very abusive relationship. So we're not powerless, though. The system wants to teach people that we don't have the power. The only power is in the expressing of a vote or the writing of a letter.
Right. So I guess it's a good thing to acknowledge when you do have power instead of believing you don't have power when you do. I'll grant you that. However, I think that there's another side of this coin, which is believing you have power that you don't actually have, which is essentially believing in magic or magical thinking.
But I'm telling you, if we, as a society, as a people, we have done a disservice to each other by allowing people to believe that there's no power. I mean, it's been throughout history. I've blamed the religions in part for this, right? Religions, through the expression of faith, it's become like a coping mechanism. People go and trauma bond together as the king and the queen, or the president and the government, oppress them. But we're not powerless. And the real power comes through unity. It comes through the truth.
So I agree, we're not powerless. And this varies how much it is true from person by person as well, even. So there's nuance. On the other hand, I think you have to examine what the rich have been doing over the past few decades and how they've been sort of building up security, both private and the police state, to keep us away from being able to protest their existence or do anything meaningful at the end of the day. Every time we do something meaningful, the police show up and turn that into a riot.
As long as the people are not able to govern themselves, evil people will come and govern them.
Well, that's another question. Can we actually govern ourselves without
Well,
some
there's the
centralized form
problem.
of
It's
power?
individual. Most people are not willing to stand up for themselves, let alone for anyone else. They're not willing to be, put the target on their back. They just want to go along, get along, not make any waves, vote for the next fucking lesser of two evils, pretend like it's all going to be okay. Meanwhile, they know the world and their life and their family's falling apart, but they just go along anyway. They won't do anything to stand against it. That's the origin of the story of Jesus Christ. He came to restore people's individual ability to stand on what's true and what's right. And he said, I'm allowing what I don't know if he existed or not, but the story goes that he allowed himself to be the sacrifice, right? But no one's willing to do that.
But people didn't necessarily start self-governing after Christ.
Well, very few people are willing to do it, let's say.
That's not true. There's been many, but the message... What's that?
I didn't mean to interview. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all right. You haven't been saying much at all.
I know. I was just going to make a snide comment at Lou. They can wait.
That's our flow.
I was going to ask to sacrifice Lou. I didn't mean to interrupt whatever you're saying.
Can we roast him?
It's a well-placed question. No, I appreciate all of this. I am nearing my end, though, if you can believe it or not.
Oh, come on, Jack.
Conversation is pretty good.
The fuck, Jack. Just when it... No, you do what you want, Jack. I'm just fucking with you.
Asserting a lack of power in oneself allows them to relieve themselves from the obligation of accountability for their situation. I think I may have been guilty of that in my past, so I can see that. By saying we're powerless, by admitting we're without power, we just blame, right? We don't have to do anything about it.
I think you're kind of straw personing me at this point, though, because I did acknowledge that we do have some power.
Yes.
I think the difference is, though, that it goes both ways, and I think it's almost a more dangerous in the way that I'm pointing to, where when we say, okay, but the rich don't actually have the power to isolate themselves from us such that we can't actually do anything about what they do, then we're letting them off easy. We're basically saying what they want us to say, so we fight against each other instead of actually mobilizing against them.
Our greatest power has always been in our numbers. The poor and the weak
I have to disagree.
always.
I'm sorry.
No, it has. The poor and the weak are always the majority than the rich and the powerful. That is always been the case. And the only thing that the rich pray for is that the poor never recognize their power in numbers, and they never unify. So they will devise and have devised multiple levels in order to keep these people separated. Because once the poor recognize and actually unify, we've seen it spurs up in history. The French Revolution, even the Bolsheviks revolution, various other the American Civil War, the British Civil War, all of these things, it flares up from time to time, but the rich have managed to refine that system to the point in which if you're just rich enough, and if you're just healthy enough, and if you're just educated enough not to revolt against them, they'll keep you at that level forever if need be, just so that you're just satisfied enough, your belly is just full enough to not go ahead and,
you know what
and dust off the
revolution?
guillotines again.
Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you, but you know what revolution means, right? The actual word revolution. It means to come back to the same spot. It's a revolution. You turn and you come right back to the same place.
Right. That's why there's other
Revolution
words like
never
radical or
creates
rebellion.
freedom. It always ends up a new boss, same as the old boss. If the people can't take individual accountability for doing what they're supposed to do to maintain their own freedom and liberty, then there's nothing going to change. Nothing.
So there's
That's
more
what
than just
John
revolution, right? There's insurgency and all this stuff. But I think what really is the cornerstone of what I'm talking about in history was when rich people could start hiring groups like the Pinkertons. I'm not saying that's the first example, but that's basically been the status quo in America since that happened. Is
Well,
just
that
to hire
would have
private
been
security groups
Carnegie, yeah.
and to pwn your opponents, anybody who is politically opposed to and can do something about it. Well, nice chat.
Melanie, are you into more
slam dunk that one.
circumcised penises or uncircumcised penises?
No, but
That's kind of intrusive.
When they released Pinkerton, like against the steelworkers under Carnegie, Carnegie was on a ship in the middle of the ocean, and when he found out about it, he put a stop to it. The organization did it without his knowledge of bringing Pinkerton in.
He knew the temperament of the guy he brought in. I don't remember the name, but the guy who was running the shop while he was off doing his thing. He knew his temperament. He knew what his purpose was. So he played the good guy. But this is the way the entire system works, right? These people with the wealth, with the power, they've got the influence. So they just tell their employees or other people around them, you know, I would sure like this. I'd sure like to get another $1 an hour out of these workers. I'd sure like to get more productivity out of this, right? And so then the henchmen, they go do what the bosses want. It's the Nuremberg trials. I mean, it's what has been proven. It's what people do. They said it was important, so I had to do it.
Well, let's reverse the situation just for argument's sake. Let's say you had $100 million, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
How would you go about putting change?
$100 million, you couldn't even buy a house in Toronto right now.
You know, Chuck, good on you for thinking to ask Jack that. I don't think anyone's ever asked Jack what he would do with money.
I would imagine if the world is still the way it is, anything I receive would be invested in trying to make change. I guess I'd hire people to help me get this shit done.
By force?
No, because I don't believe in force. I believe that the truth directs it, right? And all we need is a proper opportunity, proper scenario. You present the facts and the evidence, and then once you show the facts and the evidence shows that, hey, yeah, we shouldn't be sending troops off to the Middle East, and we shouldn't be bombing, school children or universities. If we look at the facts and we can agree that, yeah, the facts say we shouldn't do those things, there's nothing to hide, nothing to disagree about. All we got to do then is figure out, okay, how do we stop the bombs? How do we keep order and renegotiate things?
Jack, that's selfish. Have you thought about the Raytheon and the CEOs of these industrial companies?
I have, and I've thought about like the poor hedge fund managers in Wall Street. They'll be out of a job. I
What
mean,
about the
really,
shareholders? Some of us own
Yeah,
stock in these
you
companies.
won't have a corporation then.
well, you won't be as much of an owning class, that's for sure. But the way I see it, a lot of these CEOs and executives, they've been carrying a lot of burdens. They've had to make a lot of tough decisions in their paths to get them to these places of success. So let's give them the opportunity for some of these mind-numbingly boring jobs. They can go feed at the soup kitchen. They can go pick up trash off the street. They can go be a working man or woman for a little bit. I think it'd do them pretty well.
Well, they did that. It
Well,
was a
weren't
TV show.
weren't they working men when they started?
Not always, Chuck.
Not always. Oh yeah, nepotism.
The thing is, Jack, did you say you do this with $100 million? I don't think that's going to really get you there.
Well, I was being. You can put any price tag
You
you
can get him
want on it.
somewhere. I can't
maybe
get him
$100
nowhere.
billion. But I'll be honest with you, Jack. What do you think is easier for these CEOs? To have you make them go pick up trash and work at soup kitchens, or hire an assassin with a nice laser scope?
No. See, what I'm talking about is after these systems are changed and the wealth to where we're no longer in a position where the wealthy can hire half the working class to oppress the other half of the working class. That's literally the society we've created today. The wealthy pay half of the working class to oppress the working class.
How do you come to that conclusion?
Oh, it's the managerial and security class. And actually, I hope you don't mind, since you said you're wrapping up, I'm going to wrap up by quickly getting up on my soapbox. It's the only time I feel actually entitled to be on it, and I'll quickly get off because I don't like actually being the center of attention.
You're fine.
Are you going to have pants on or not?
Let it.
That's intrusive again.
Go ahead, please.
So, speculating about what would be best for people is all fun and games until you actually try to apply it and find out where you're wrong. I think this is all easier said than done when you actually apply it to people. And these things become a lot more complicated the more people you have to do it for. That's not to say you shouldn't do it, but there's a lot of hard questions we still don't have clean answers to, like in the security class, right? Or even just security questions in general, like your privacy online. Do you want all your apps to know who you are when you log in so you don't have to recall passwords and all this crap every single time? Or do you want the absolute maximum security from any possible hacker and all these data brokers and all this stuff? These things are always trade-offs. It's always a double-edged sword. And now that society is so complicated, anything that used to be a clean answer is definitely not a clean answer anymore. If you want peace, like Jack does, then you can't use force doctrine. Now you certainly can't be an authoritarian. So a lot of, clean answers also go out the door, and you have to start accepting that sometimes you need to find the happy medium, the golden ratios between things, or golden medium between things. Not everything is going to have a perfect solution, and that's okay. Anyways, have a good night, folks. There is some truth behind the fact that we can all do better. So as long as you're doing better, I believe in you.
Thank you, Mel.
Be well, Mel.
Appreciate that. I appreciate you.
Be well.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reflecting. I got in my feelers a little earlier. Got frustrated a few times. Snapped at people. But
is Imperius still in the back?
No, I kicked him a while ago.
Reminds me a lot of snafu.
Mitch has been back there. I don't know how long. I didn't mean to leave you back there. Welcome back, Mitch.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
These possibilities, though, guys, can't force anyone to consider what they don't want to consider, but it took me a while to humble myself and to try and accept the idea of having faith. And guys, I'm all in. I've got faith that God has everything laid out for us. Peace is the path. Love is the way. Transformation is in our future. The entire nation, the entire world. We're ready for a breakthrough.
Jack, you're gonna be ending this soon, so I'll just go on my merry way. Oh, hey, knock knock.
Who's there?
Oh fuck! It would have been perfect if you kicked him. That's it. Right when he said knock knock, you followed my thought, Jack.
Oh, he left.
He just
Oh,
ding
you
dong
left. I
ditched
thought
you.
you kicked him. That would have been
I didn't
perfect.
even do it. That would have been, see?
As soon as he said knock knock, boom, you kick him.
He's, yeah. Take the one comment modded.
So Jack, when you say you believe in God, do you believe in the Christian concept of God, or is there any other?
My view of God seems to be a little different than many who've grown up with the traditional churches, but everything I believe, it's been confirmed here. God was not what I set out to know, but then eventually it became the only thing I wanted to know because everything else was gone. But when I started reading the Bible, a lot of the stuff that I read, it was describing what I was experiencing, or it was explaining some of the conclusions I had found, such as forgiveness, mercy, patience, faith. So the God I've come to know and where I'm at, I went from I called myself agnostic because I was confused. I didn't
Because you were
know.
honest.
I was honest, that too, because I didn't know enough. I thought it was something we couldn't really know, and I thought a lot of people who said they knew, I thought they were lying. But then things started changing, and I'm not a believer in God. I believe that I exist, but if I exist, God exists.
Do you know that Tommy and Snafu are going to clip the fuck out of that?
But it's the truth, man. It is. And here, I know God as the knower, and the knower knows. And there's an aspect of the knower that is within me. There's an aspect of the knower that's within all of you. And the knower knows.
We are all God, Jack.
I know.
Did you ever read any of the Hindu texts or the Sikh or Buddhist sort of philosophies and texts before you come to these things? Because that's where a lot of this sort of lies in there as well.
Yes.
Have you ever seen this video called the Egg Theory?
Yes, I think so. It's a short little video. Short
Yeah.
little
The what theory? What was this
The
video
egg-
called again?
The Egg Theory. It's like a little TikTok or Instagram sort of video about a guy who dies, and then he starts talking to this other being that comes to greet it. But that being isn't God. In fact, anyway, you have to watch it. It makes more sense when you watch it. But ultimately, everything and everyone that we know is actually just a reincarnated version of ourselves. What it is that we are an egg, we are a fetus developing, and we will eventually hatch as an omnipotent sort of deity figure at the end of it. But you have to go through this cycle of knowing oneself and knowing yourself. Oh, there it is. Yes, you got it. Yeah. If you want to play it, at least that will explain it so much better than me.
Well, I dropped a link. It's I don't know.
Play it, Jack. Come on, and then we'll go. Play it, and then we'll go.
Yeah, it's not real long, and it is good. Yeah.
You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident. Nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. It was a painless death. The medics tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered, you were better off, trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened? Where am I? You died, I said, matter-of-factly. No point in mincing words. There was a truck, and it was skidding. Yes. I died. Yes. But don't feel bad about it. Everyone dies. You looked around. There was nothingness. Just you and me. What is this place? Is this the afterlife? More or less. Are you God? Yes, I'm God. My kids? My wife? What about them? Will they be all right? That's what I like to see, I said. You just died and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. You looked at me with fascination. To you, I didn't look like God. I just looked like...
Hey, actually, I've got this restreaming with you too, don't I?
It's not copyrighted.
Yeah, it's okay. I can drop off my end if I was concerned about it.
It's not copyrighted, Jack.
It's it's certainly copyrighted. Lou is full of absolute shit, but you don't need to worry about me. You can do your own thing.
All right.
Some man or possibly a woman. Some vague authority figure, maybe. Don't worry, I said. They'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contemptuous of you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will be secretly relieved. To be fair, your marriage was falling apart. If it's any consolation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved. Oh, so what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something? Neither. You'll be reincarnated. Ah. So the Hindus were right. All religions are right in their own way. Walk with me. You followed along as we strode through the void. Where are we going? Nowhere in particular. It's just nice to walk while we talk. So, what's the point then? When I get reborn, I'll just be a blank slate, right? A baby. So, all my experiences and everything I did in this life won't matter. Not so. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of...
What up?
Sorry, I was muted. I guess it should be interrupted because for the fair use, I guess it's talking about the topic, right? Using the word, and this is a good... Hell, I'm just trying to promote what they're sharing. That's really what I'm doing.
But they don't look at it that way.
It's
Unfortunately,
gonna get good. It's gonna get good in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me up. I'm gonna start my stream early and take off.
What's the topic, Flo?
No topic. It's called loitering. I mean, I'm just because it's a loiter panel. So come over, or Jack wants to, whoever. But later tonight, Triple Brainbenders. Triple B is doing the trivia thing that I said I'd be at, and Jack is ending now. So I just kind of have fill in the gap, I guess, in between those two things.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Jack? I just came up for a minute to ask you something.
Yeah, please.
Why do you think it is that certain people like you have had spiritual experiences, but the large majority of people haven't? And so you claim to have a knowing of God. And how come that only happens to certain people? I
You're
don't
making
get why. I don't get why.
assumptions,
I don't get why
Austin.
the
Because
hundreds of millions of other people haven't had
you
spiritual
you
experiences.
fail to
If
open your
God wants
eyes
to touch
to it.
everyone and be in everyone's life, then why doesn't God show itself to everyone?
That's a great question, and it's a fair question. And it's one that I can't answer, but what I can suggest is I found it because the circumstances of my life, really, it was either find God or lose my mind. I mean, and I did. I kind of lost my mind. Thank you, Dusty. We're probably going to
Can,
head
can
that
I
way
can
soon.
I just respond to him? I mean, in a Talcottian way, Austin, you get to receive what you receive.
I
That
would like a real
Part of,
answer instead of sarcasm,
I
but
mean, that's not
well, to
sarcastic. That doesn't
move,
fit any better than what that statement doesn't
no,
fit
it's
perfectly.
Lou,
so you're
if you,
saying that if you do good, you get good back. If you do
No,
bad, you get
it's
bad back.
your
So you're going
choice
back
to
to karma.
receive whatever you want to
Okay,
receive.
karma. Got it.
No, I didn't say karma.
That's
Yeah,
what
I'm
you
saying it's
described as
your
karma.
choice.
It's perception.
You can receive God or you can
hey,
receive the
Lou,
devil.
can you stop arguing,
Sorry.
please? Thank you. Because while it sounds flippant to some degree, Austin, what Lou is saying is true. I mean, I had to accept that for myself. I've asked similar questions, Austin. I've heard of these people that have had these conversations with angels. They've just supernatural experiences. They've been moved. They've been felt, right? I haven't had that. And
I
so I
thought you
had
have
to
though. I thought you have. I thought
I
you had
I
a
have
loving experience.
I've had many mysterious phenomena. Mysterious, it's not mysterious. It can be explained, but there's these experiences I have that, yes, it is supernatural. It's not normal. Now, how did I get there? My situation and the situation determined me to look in places that I hadn't been looking before. But the reality is, what I think is happening, I'm not alone, first
I
of
think
all.
so too. I agree with you on that. Your situation, I feel the same way. It also caused me to look in other areas, and when I did, and I was open, willing, and honest, I did receive answers in a weird way.
100%.
That's what it was with me, Austin. And when I started looking and finding the answers, I couldn't deny them anymore. I couldn't lie and say I didn't know. Well, I have to give it up to these higher powers because it explains the truth in the higher powers. But
Yeah, but it sucks that we have to go through hell to get to that point.
it does. It does, but it also makes sense because once you break through it, once you break through your darkness and you see how to fix yourself and you fix yourself, guess what? You're like, holy shit, you feel better. It's like a child. God
Yeah.
created us and we are children. We're on our own, right? To figure it out so that we get that feeling of achievement, of knowing that we figured it out.
I felt
Not
that
that
way after my sixth step. After doing my sixth step and telling my sponsor all my dirt and shit, I felt
you felt it.
immediately. Well, I went into, you're supposed to go quiet for an hour and go sit and meditate or whatever. And I did. I had that childlike feeling.
Good for you.
You
Yeah.
have to
So
stay in an attitude with gratitude. Eventually, if you get the spiritual awakening that you need, you will look back and be grateful for the suffering you had.
Yeah, we
that's
don't regret the
where
past
I
nor wish to shut the door on it so that we don't forget.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change my
It's
experience for
God
anything.
damn. It's fucking, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
And you know, I
It's
had an
like, it's
interesting
crazy, but it's fucking beautiful at the same time.
I had an interesting experience this past when was it? I don't know, Sunday. I actually did mushrooms for the first time in like 40 years. And you
Yeah.
know where I found myself? I found myself, and it was the strangest thing. I didn't expect to experience that. But I was back in a jail cell, and I remember the jail cell very well. It was a brick wall with just a concrete bed. They took my clothes, and I was sick, heroin sick, really bad, shitting myself, vomiting, and the guards were laughing at me, and it was like I was transported back to that time, as if I had to experience it again
Yeah.
to relieve myself of it. It was really strange, but I'm grateful for that it happened, but it was very scary at the time.
It's like a healing process.
Yeah, it was very, very scary. Wow.
Here, there's one last part I want to add on there, because Austin, I know I'm not alone. There's many people. You've mentioned your own. You've had your taste of experience. And I believe what's happening is we're getting these experiences so that we can help each other. Right?
Yeah. So it's God working through us.
That's the conclusion I've come to, honestly. And it makes sense.
That's the way I see God, is by other people. That's really my top two ways. That and having crazy dreams. But yeah, other people seem to talk to me, or God seems to talk to me through other people.
Okay, good.
The dreams are because you're not anesthetizing. So how do you say that? You're not self-medicating anymore. So your spirit is starting to wake up, and you're actually sleeping now. So that's why you're dreaming and having these intense dreams. Because when you're drinking, you're not sleeping. You think you are, but you
I don't
don't.
agree with anything you just said, Lou.
Sorry?
I actually did go back to drinking.
Oh, you did go back to drinking. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking lie.
Well, that's why you sound ungrateful.
I
Let's
just
not assume, but
I mean, yeah, you're making a lot of assumptions. You don't know.
I'm just saying what you sound like to me. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I could be in a blackout drunk and talk completely clear, and you wouldn't be able to tell.
Well,
I have no doubt.
Here's the thing, man. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to offer anything other than my care and support for you. Okay. When it's time for you to walk away from that, you will. Okay. But brother, it really is a spiritual battle. You testified. I heard you. You felt the evidence, right? You've experienced peace. You've witnessed perhaps messages coming out of the blue from others.
Just a couple weeks ago, I did. I probably had my biggest spiritual experience a few weeks ago.
Were you drinking?
No, I was sober. I walked down the alcohol aisle, and this was my way into relapsing. I was fighting in my head for hours on that day, and I walked down the alcohol aisle, and the first thing I saw was a bottle of wine that said Austin Hope.
Yeah, I hate it when the bottles talk to me.
And yeah, I mean, I've never seen who's gonna name a wine company Austin Hope. That doesn't even fucking sound right.
God speaks to us in mysterious ways.
I mean,
would
there's
say only one
coincidences,
thing.
and then there's that kind of stuff.
I would say one thing to you, Austin, is never quit quitting. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, like I told you the other day, Austin, there's no shame in falling down. The shame comes from not trying to get back up.
Yeah, don't quit quitting.
Dude, when I don't know. When I drink, I don't have to think. I don't have to deal with fucking
Friday
reality.
I'm doing a little show for celebrating milestone. So if you're more than welcome to join, Austin.
Thank you, gentlemen. Take care, Jack. Peace out.
Blessings, Lufaz. Blessings, Jim. Thank you. When are you doing that, Chuck? Friday, you said?
Friday.
All right.
It'll be 26 years, I think. I have to do the math. My math don't math too good anymore.
I'm sorry to let you guys down, Chuck.
No,
I know what you guys have done, and
you let yourself down. Nobody else.
No.
Exactly.
Not even that. Okay. It's a part of path. It's part of your path.
That's true. That's true. It is a part of it.
It's like learning to walk or learning to run. When we first learning that, we fall down.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Good. Welcome, Dominic. You're swinging in pretty late. I was actually getting ready to do the shutdown, but Austin, we kind of got off on some deeper topics right there.
Yeah, I figure you're probably one of the only people I could talk to this stuff about. You and Chuck that actually understand. So that's why I came up. I didn't mean to drag your show on.
No, hey, I'm glad you did, brother. I mean, it is what it is. I appreciate your trust, your willingness to be open and vulnerable. Thank you. Yeah. And seriously, you're not alone, bud. And while other people understanding, it doesn't help, right? You still got to walk the steps. You still got to do everything on your own. But if I can be a brother for you of encouragement, I'm here for you. All right.
I appreciate that. I'm going to head out.
All right, Austin. Good seeing you.
You too.
Yeah. Much love.
All right, Jack. Well, since I joined late, I'll just say love ultimately is how you view yourself and extend that to other people, right? And with that, I'll just leave and say agape to all.
Much love, Dominic. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you sincerely. Chuck bounced out.
Jack, I love you, Jack. Much love, Jack. Take it easy.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
Hey, peace and blessings to you. I appreciate you, Orthodox guy. Mitch, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm feeling good. I am. I got a little frustrated earlier in the stream. I got snapped at a couple people, but you know what? It is what it is. Anyway.
Well, hey, that accountability will lead to better results, I think. So, good on you.
What? That's it. Thank you, Mitch. I'm going to drop you out.
Wait. I had a couple of thoughts real quick pertaining to the stream.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to say rehab's for quitters, and it's pretty good evidence of the lack of self-governance in our society and the reason why so much government exists. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's mainly what I wanted to say. But thanks for having me up, Jack. Peace.
It's a great perspective. Thank you, Mitch. The idea of the detox facilities, it is somewhat representative of the fact that we impose governments, at least in this current form, the way that we do impose governments upon one another. But that's what we were taught. That's the fairy tale we were born into. And brothers and sisters, this is your life. This is my life. This is our lifetime to change this world, to experience the world, to discover the world, to share the world. This, my brothers and sisters, is your time with me. I want to get out of here. And you know what? Thank you for that reminder. A happy birthday to our friend Trexty. If you're still there, I know it's late for you. I'm going to wrap it up. And for those who are willing to stick around, I've got us forwarded. We're going to go revisit the Powder Dusty. We'll see what his efforts on loitering are about. Anyway, brothers and sisters, thank you again. Peace is the path. Love is the way. Live without fear. We'll do this another day. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, walk with faith, and live without fear. Thank you again. God bless us all. And share love wherever you go. Peace.